There we are.
Good morning, Denise, Eric and Casey. Good morning, Denise, Eric and Casey. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Am I echoing you guys?
I don't hear an echo.
Okay.
No.
You guys, I know we have the banner. I am going to cut the banner off for just a minute. The little ticker tape.
Yay!
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I feel honored.
No, it's
We're honored to have you.
Yeah, I feel honored to be here.
Ooh, good morning to Sonia and Chriso too. Good morning to Sonia and Chriso too.
You know you're going to have to sing to Eric again.
Yeah.
I know he's probably just, okay, there he is.
I'll wait till okay. Good morning to Eric and Wisdom TV. Good morning to Eric and Wisdom TV.
Good morning, you guys. Derek's on Facebook. Derek, what you doing on Facebook? Sing to Derek. He's on Facebook.
Derek's on Facebook. Good morning to Derek. Good morning to you. Good morning to Derek. Good morning to you.
All right. Explain who you are, Joe.
Well, they call me Josie. I'm Josie's Place. I used to be Granny Josie and just got tired of being called Granny, actually. So I'll tell the truth. I know I'm old, but I got tired of being called Granny. And I kind of wanted to change my channel a little bit. In fact, I have pretty much decided to start a second channel. And what I'm looking for is suggestions for names. And my second channel, I want it to be basically like I did in my first original channel, which I'm going to keep, about the 5 grieving stages. And I want it to be more of a discussion, more to help people, or if they have questions, kind of that type of thing. In fact, one of the suggestions for a name was Josie Cares.
Oh, that's good.
So I'm looking for, before I decide to do this, and I'm hoping that, at least right away I can get 100 subscribers so I can go longer than 15 minutes.
Oh, girl, you'll get them. You sure will.
Even my son suggested, Mom, you need to separate, because there's people that are watching you now that maybe are not really into listening to about grieving and that type of thing.
Good morning to Craig, Melvin and AJC. Good morning to Craig, Melvin and AJC.
Did you get wisdom? Yes.
Yep.
Sorry,
Josie.
So that's what I'm thinking. So in fact, I think I might do a really short video explaining that, I would like suggestions from subscribers, from the audience for names. I think it'll work better than mixing my channel, because I'm going on my channel. I decided to keep doing jewelry because I've had so many requests, and then mostly DIYs with jewelry art and sewing and this type of thing. So at first I thought, oh, do I really want a second channel? But I think it'll work better. And then it'll just keep the people who really, maybe, not that I'm going to help everyone, but maybe between the book that I'm writing and my personal life and my medical background, just maybe a couple of words might encourage someone.
And when you do, I mean, it's, I promise you would get your 100 subs, Joe. But you haven't gotten it up yet. Is that correct?
No, I wanted to do this first.
Yes.
I wanted to talk here first, and then I think maybe this afternoon I'll do just a really short video.
Well, type in so people can see your channel. Or Casey can do it. Casey,
can you do it?
Casey, drop Joe's channel. So drop Joe's channel so everybody here can show her some love. And we will do that because it's just like with Destiny, you know, her on mental health and stuff. That's really taken off. People need to hear these things.
Josie, what about Josie's
Aw,
place
Eric did
for
it.
grief? Because then when somebody searches grief, it'll pull you up.
That is good. Let me write that down too.
Eric and Casey, both of them dropped it. Thank you,
Bless you.
Eric.
Thank you, guys.
That is wonderful.
Because, you know, and some of the things that I've went through in life, I was just thinking about that. My next video on grief, I want to do it on how, say if you lose a child, how their siblings cope with it, how the family copes with it. And in my research and my writing, I thought, wow, I wish I knew that when I lost my daughter, because I made a lot of mistakes with my older son and how he coped with it. And it really, I think, hurt him. And he never really dealt with the grief. And I was young. I didn't have the experience. It was before I was a nurse. And so I'm thinking maybe there's someone that's in that position that it might help.
And
Joe,
Joe, I can tell you from first experience when my little brother, he was right before his 4th birthday, he was hit by a car. Well, my sister, my mom had sent my sister to go to walk to my grandmama's, and he went with her. She was only 12. And it was like they blamed her. So she had a terrible things just weren't good for me and her, and it changed everything. It changed the whole dynamics of, you know, my mom had 6 kids and all of a sudden she had 5, and it just they didn't have counseling. This was in 74. You really didn't go to counseling for something like that.
No.
And we needed it. I mean, especially my sister that was with them.
Well,
Good morning, Vanessa, Michelle, and Raven. Good morning, Vanessa, Michelle, and Raven.
Oh, we're so. Hey, Vanessa, just a wee bit is better. We love to hear
We'll
that
take a wee bit. Yep.
That's good.
Wee bit's better than none. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yep.
We take that as a praise. So you saying that, Joe, it really, I remember things my mom said during her grief time.
Well, and when I think about it now, like my older son, who was 14 and half months younger than my daughter was alive when he went to bed. And when he got up in the morning, she was dead. And he showed no emotions. And then a year later, he was sitting on the side of his bed and he was crying. And I went up to him and, you know, hugged him and said, you know, what's wrong? And he says, Mommy, am I going to die too?
Aww.
But things like that, you know, and like I said, I was young. I mean, this was back in 1969, and you're right. There really wasn't grief therapy or, you know, and I lived in a really small town, 5,000 population. So when I have done my research, and like I said, I'm hopefully I'll finish my book someday. I really would have been helpful if I could have had some help.
One of the things that my mom didn't even, I guess, realize that I heard as a child, but I heard her in her grief one day right after it happened, because that was her baby. And he had the same namesake as her baby brother that died in Vietnam. So both my grandmother, and it was hard on my grandmother because she was so close. She was close to all of us, but that was like having her son back.
Mm-hmm.
He looked just like her son. He had mannerisms. So, but I remember Mom saying she just wanted to shut us all up in the room and cut the gas on, and all of us just die together. I was 9. I remember her saying that, so I was scared. Not only, I lost my baby brother, and 9-year-olds act a little bit different, but I was scared. I heard that.
I lost my chat. It says private all of a sudden.
Did you lose your chat on StreamYard?
I'm on the laptop. I'm not on my phone.
I mean, you lose it on StreamYard, or did you pop your chat out on Facebook?
No, on StreamYard.
StreamYard's kind of weird. Sometimes I go ahead and pop my chat. I pop mine out for. So Sonia.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Sonia said, I haven't had much headspace to even think about greeting my mom who passed away, or grieving her mom who passed away last February, because she's now her dad's caregiver who is unable to look after himself. Sometimes it does hit her in spurts.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm sure that's hard, Sonia, and it is something you have to eventually work through. It doesn't go away. It's always there to deal with when you come back to it, for sure.
Trying to find you on the phone.
So I have often wondered why didn't our family try to figure things out, but we just had, and then I think we were dysfunctional when we lived in California, and that was way before my baby, brother died.
Mm-hmm.
So we were a dysfunctional family to start with. So,
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it was, is just, I shouldn't use the word ignorance, but we didn't have the knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't intentional.
I think it was rich people went to counseling. If you were wealthy, then they would send, they would go to therapists or stuff like that. But hey, we didn't even go. We had earaches. We didn't even go to the doctor. We just, that was just how it was back then. But it doesn't. I mean, my oldest brother committed suicide, and that was something that was hard.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't talk about that. Joe,
good morning, Penny Bunny. Good morning to you. Good morning, Penny Bunny. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning. So
I finally got to chat on my phone.
Okay.
But we didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then I found out Mom said one of her uncles had done that. Well, why didn't we talk about it?
I think sometimes people don't talk about grieving somebody who committed suicide because they feel that committing suicide is wrong or it's a sin, and so they don't want to discuss it, but it's still the loss of a life. No matter how it happened, it's still the loss of somebody in your life.
It was like a hidden thing back then.
Right.
I guess it was one of those things you didn't want people to know about. I don't know.
It's kind of like, I'll use for an example. My mother had a half sister, and when she was going through the menopause, back then, and figure my mother died when she was 98, so she's way back there. But if you had any type of mental issue or any problem, people didn't talk about it. They hid you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And she was put in a mental institution. And actually, basically the only thing wrong, she was going through menopause and had problems. But I did not know until she died that she was in an institution. I didn't know my mother had a half sister.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness. Good morning, Melissa and Jennifer Hayes too. Good morning, Melissa and Jennifer Hayes too. Okay, Derek, love you. Talk to you later.
So
Oh,
people
Melissa.
didn't talk about things like that. They were hidden, you know.
Right. It was considered taboo. They kind of wanted to sweep it under the rug and not bring it up and discuss it.
Yeah, and I still didn't tell my mom until recently that I had tried, and my sister. I did not know that this whole time. Let me see. I'm 55, and I was 30, so 25 years. I didn't know my oldest sister carried around guilt that she should have been able to have stopped my oldest brother. She should have been able, because they were real close. They were 3 years apart, and that she should have known. And we didn't talk about it. And then one day we rode. She got me to ride with her. Oh gosh, it was probably about 6 months ago. Well, no, it's been since I've been doing this, and I rode with her, and she told me how guilty and I said, why? And I told her about me, and she was so upset. She said, now, how do you think I would have felt? She said, I feel bad enough about, Aubrey. And I said, well, don't feel guilty, Irene. I said, never feel guilty. It was his pain, his struggle. Nothing you could have said or done. He loved you, you loved him, and he knew it. And I said, I promise if I feel that way again, I said, yes, I will call you. And Casey has called her before, way before it was before we even started Porch Church. And he called her one day, and we sat outside, and I finally started telling my sister stuff. But
Good morning, Killer Whale. Good morning to you. Good morning, Killer Whale. Good morning to you.
Yeah, I think discussing things with the right people is so important. And, I had two friends many, many years ago that committed suicide. And both of them shot themselves in the head. And it was tragic for the family, just devastating. So,
good morning to Mona. Good morning to you. Good morning to Mona. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Mona. It has been a while, but welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome, welcome.
And you guys, I want to introduce Josie. Josie's Place, you guys.
Everyone.
She was one of the very first ones on Casey's Porch Church Network, when it wasn't the Porch Church Network. It was when he first started. So Josie and Jennifer Hayes and Vanessa, and Amora. You got, they who?
Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl. They all was very supportive of Casey, and so it made me love them too. Anybody loves them. But
I feel very honored to be here, and I did set my alarm.
We're honored to have you here, Josie.
There's about 3 hours difference in time.
yeah, Joe, you guys, Joe is on. She is on East Coast time, so.
Pacific time. Yeah, I set my alarm for 5, and when it rang, I thought, "Oh, you got to do this."
And you say you feel honored. Oh my gosh! I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and we know you got up extra early just to be here with us, so it makes us feel good. Good morning, eBay reseller. Good morning to you. Good morning, eBay reseller. Good morning to you.
You guys throw Joe's link out there again. And I want you guys to get Joe, because she's going to start. Well, you tell them what you're fixing to do.
Well, I'm thinking about, on my channel, I've done the 5 grieving stages, and I want to extend that and do more with it. And not only about grieving, just talk about other things that people need to talk about. But I had suggestions even from my son that I need to start the second channel and separate it from the jewelry and the jewelry art
Yep.
and the sewing DIYs, separate it. And so this is what I would like to do this coming week is get this started. And I'm hoping, until you get 100 subscribers, you can only go less than 15 minutes. And so I'm hoping at least to get 100 right away.
And look, you guys, there's enough on here. There is enough of you guys.
I know we're not supposed to talk about numbers, but
no, yeah, you can. They don't like numbers being shown like in the chat, but yes.
On my channel, I have 797 now, so I'm close to 800. But I would like to separate the two. I think I have something to offer, and maybe I can learn something because I kind of want to open it up to questions. Questions. Say if there's a certain subject someone wants me to discuss. I want it to kind of be a group thing, not just my opinion. And I'm going to base this on the book that I'm writing, plus my personal life. So most of the things I've talked about, I have actually went through.
Yeah. And sort of like what we've done. We cover so many different topics. Oh, there's Darlene.
Good morning, Darlene B. Good morning to you. Good morning, Darlene B. Good morning to you.
And I know Darlene B knows who this woman is up here on the panel.
Hi, Darlene.
But yeah, when people, they do, Joe, no, all right. Jennifer says, did you already make your new channel?
No, I wanted to be on here first. And then I think this afternoon I might just do a short video and explain what I want to do. Because I want suggestions from, subscribers or future subscribers for a name. I want it to be a name that people want to go to. You know what I mean? That feel free to be able to. It's like with my grieving stages. There's 3 people that have privately messaged me, and I know that I have helped. And this type of thing is kept very private. I don't reveal names. I don't discuss what their situation is. So I want to kind of combine it like that. If someone feels like they want to private message me and, talk about it, that's fine. And I will discuss things openly that are related to me. I have no problem discussing what I went through. And it's not because of sympathy or anything. It's made me a very strong woman.
Well, and it's through your experience that maybe the things you went through and the things you wish you would have done differently now that you look back, that you could maybe be of assistance to somebody going through similar things right now.
Right. And years ago, I've told myself, Joe, you have 2 ways to go. You can either pick up the pieces and go on and be strong, or you can give up and die. That were my 2 options. And I chose to be strong and keep going. And I'm probably, even at my age, the most happy and content that I've ever been in my life now.
That's awesome.
And it takes work. And it takes,
it does.
Not that I don't care who you are, no matter if you think your life's perfect, you're going to have difficulties, you're going to have tragedies.
Yeah.
But when you understand what's happening or you have faith in the Lord, life's good.
I was fortunate. Well, me and my sister both. We had my grandmother. So my grandmother was our place of refuge, and I had 2 uncles. They lived with my grandmother. That they were our safe place. We loved them like our back then you were by your uncles or aunts, like they were like your parents. You treated them like your parents, but we would never want to go home. We wanted to stay at my grandmama's, my nanny, and that's why I'm nanny. But she's the one that took us to church, and she kept us in church. And if it had not been me and my sister, I think, accepting the Lord at such a young age, I don't know how bad things could have been.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that early faith, and strength comes in different ways. Do you get your feelings hurt? Of course, we're going to be hurt. But can we joke? Can we hold our heads up and carry on?
You have to decide to give it to the Lord. And I have to honestly say, I always believed that there was a God and the Lord was real. But it's been 5 years that I totally gave my life to the Lord. You know, in my earlier years, I always made an excuse. Well, maybe God wants me to do this, you know. I knew he loved me, and so there was always an excuse. Now I just give it to him. I know what he wants me to do and what he doesn't want me to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think as humans have a tendency to say, oh, well, God will understand. Because we've made our choice what we think we want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, we try to fit God into what we want him to be.
Yes, that's perfectly stated.
And until you step out on faith, kind of how this Casey said, Mom, just start your own channel. That was very hard for me because I wasn't in front of the camera. You know, Casey did the jewelry auctions. He become comfortable in front of the camera. Me, it was hard for me to start with, but it's a learning experience. Denise, I wrote you down, babe, on your
God bless you, Denise.
On our prayer. Denise is having a very bad pain day today.
Is Casey still around?
Casey,
can you type in my prayer angel group?
Oh, I can pull it up real quick. Casey, will you type in the prayer angels group for Joe? But there's things, there's things, Denise, me and Denise, the more we talk, the more we have in common. And I know for sure God brings people together, me and Traci, because if I was still in my room in my pain, my life would just be nothing. And that's not what God wants. God needs us. We're at a time right now that we have this tool to reach people. And, it's our responsibility to do that, to shout out God and shout out how good he is to us, because there's people out there that might not know.
And, it's in when I started my prayer angel group, I had no plans for this. I mean, I really didn't. And I'm not exaggerating, within 10 or 15 minutes one morning, this came to me. And I decided, I guess God wants me to do this. I had no thoughts about what I was going to do. I just started the group on Facebook. And I have 40 members. And I don't really care about the quantity. I just want people in there that are willing to pray for anyone. Yeah. And I don't want people to say, well, they're in another country, I'm not going to pray. We need to even pray for our enemies.
Absolutely.
And if you read any of my Facebook, I try to keep the Granny Josie shop for buy and sell, but once in a while, I did put in I thought I was harassed this week, and I won't even go into that. But after all of it, I decided to pray for that person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the only thing I can do.
It is.
There's no solving the problem.
No.
No.
To God.
And you know, Joe, just like trolls, we don't really know these trolls, but sometimes we have to pray and leave it in God's hand and just carry on. But what's hurtful are people that we know.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Yeah.
But yeah.
The harassment that I had was somebody that I know very well.
Yeah, and it hurts.
And it's just the times, I think. Things have changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying when I was young that things were all perfect and good, because they weren't.
Right.
But I think there was more consideration. We didn't have social media. People say things now that they wouldn't have said back then.
Oh, absolutely. People say things on social media and through social media that they would never say.
I think
Never, not even today, say to somebody's face.
Right.
That's it. They would say it, but you wouldn't know it was said.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And some of the worst backbiting, I have to say, that I've ever experienced was in church, though.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know that, and then, you know, it would get back to you. But yes, now it's right there in your face that you can see it. And it's like, really? But, you know, you could, there is a way of just, good morning, Amber.
Good morning to Amber. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amber. Good morning to you.
Uh-oh. Good morning from me and Matt.
Good morning to Matt. Good morning to you. Good morning to Matt. Good morning to you.
All right, Matt, I'm going to tell you something. You best not make her cry no more. I'm just saying. I got these mom eyes. I'm just saying, don't make her cry no more. Okay, that's it, Amber. That's all I got to say about that. But yes, and it does hurt, and people can still hurt you. And
Mm-hmm.
and there's been times that I've come on since I've been doing this, and I know people probably wonder, wait, she looks like she's not upset. And I might be, but, or people will say, well, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I just didn't know that. No, you're not going to know it was happening, because, this is a way of touching as many people that I can. And I'm not perfect. And you can't, and I'm going to say it. I need to always have this. You can't talk as much as me without sinning. Somewhere.
No.
You're going to be sinning somewhere,
Well,
good morning, Michelle. Good morning to you. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning to you.
And there's Joe's. You guys, show Joe some love, because we are going to have another channel to watch. And she's on East Coast time. So look, she's a late nighter.
Yeah.
So a lot of you guys that are later nighters.
Yeah, some of you people that stay up later than me, past 8 o'clock.
Yeah. I don't know why I used to be just the opposite. I used to go to bed early. Now 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm on Pacific time, by the way.
MawMaw's like that. MawMaw worked third shift for too long, and she's still on. She is.
I love hearing her. She is a kid.
Now look, you guys. I love everybody out there, and yes, I did put a heart at Killer Whale, but I love all of you guys.
Good morning, Ron P. Good morning to you. Good morning, Ron P. Good morning to you.
Well, welcome, Ron. Welcome. And we have Josie's place on here, and she will be doing a grief channel. So I am, as long as YouTube don't tell me to quit throwing links out, I will put her link out. I mean, they'll do that, Joe.
Oh yeah, I know.
They will do that. And I'm like, why can't I do it? So it's a new thing.
Yeah. You have to be careful. Yeah, I read all about the COPA law and all of that, and it's you have to be careful.
Yeah, so you guys, there is no reason why Joe can't get her 1,000. I thought you should have already been at 1,000, Joe. But we want you guys subscribe so that way when she starts her new channel.
Yeah, I just I think it's a great idea, and I'm glad my son mentioned it to me. He said, "Mom, separate your channel because you have your jewelry pop-ups, your jewelry art, and your DIYs now, and your grief doesn't really go with that,
Mm-hmm.
Sort of when Casey separated his geisha channel from his Porch Church.
Right.
Yep.
But even MawMaw said she watched her grief channel one time, and she still grieves. She still grieves my father-in-law. There's times that she'll just look funny, and she'll tell me, "I just had Woodson rub my arm." She said, "I was dreaming, and I just felt him touch my arm." And then she'll cry, and he's been gone. Goodness, I was 31. So he's been gone. It was my brother, and then the very next year, my father-in-law. And that was 2 hits that devastated me, and it devastated our family, is to have 2 hits at one, like that. But
you see what Amber wrote about the baby?
Oh my, okay. Amber, I will put that again and put her name in. So, because I'm sure other people write in their prayer journal. And of course, Joe will add her to her prayer angels.
Yes, I will.
And it's Graceland. She is in the hospital in Birmingham. And she is a baby, and they're going to have to do surgery again because she cannot hold down her formula. But yes, you guys, great. Joe believes in prayer, and there's times that we'll do post something in Porch Church for prayers, and then I know I can go right on over to Joe and put a prayer in there as well.
Yeah, and I wish more people would. I think we have a really strong group right now. There's 40 people. And like I said, I didn't concentrate on, I kept it private. I didn't open it to the public because it's safer when it's private. And I just want active people who are willing to pray for, even if they don't like someone, you pray for them. Because sometimes we're too judgmental. And, we dislike someone and, we're not going to pray. Well, the Lord wants us to pray for our enemies.
Absolutely.
He does. And you know what? There's some people out there that don't even, I think sometimes we don't even realize sometimes that we are somebody's enemy. And, because I try to be good and show love, but in this world we live in, everybody is not going to like us.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
And
sure.
Dwayne will say, "Oh, how can they not like you?" That's what Dwayne will be in a little bit, Joe. But I tell him, I say, "Oh, Dwayne, there's a lot of people. Some people don't like perky people." When I worked at the conferencing center, somebody didn't like me because I was too perky. I was too happy.
People, well, and I've been told that I intimidate people, and I certainly don't mean to. I'm a very strong person. Through hard knocks, I've had to become strong. And I say what's on my mind. That's the one thing I have a statement I've always said. I won't say anything behind your back that I wouldn't have the nerve to say to your face.
And yes, you do.
Amen.
Traci, when you feel like you can't set up any longer,
Yes.
me and Joe's got this handled.
I think I'm going to go and lay
Yes.
down.
Yes.
And no, I'm going to the doctor today, so I will get some relief later today. So I love you all. I will listen in the chat, but I've been miserable for yesterday and today. So it's time to just go lay down. And I love you all. And I'm sorry for the people I miss singing to. I love you.
Love you, Traci.
Traci, praying for you, Traci.
Thank you, Joe. It was nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
So you guys prayed for Traci. She had a bad night last night, and she is amazing. I tell people that all the time. God has brought different people in my life at different times, Joe, and you know, what more can you ask for?
I put I give my life to the Lord. Most people don't know about 6 months ago, I had 2 weeks of such severe pain in my left leg, I could not walk. And I scooted around my apartment in my office chair. And my determination, I kept going. I still did my YouTube and my eBay.
Good morning, Peggy. Peggy is on Facebook. Good morning. Good morning, Peggy. Traci just had to leave, so she won't be able to sing to you. And Penny, your message about Jack. I don't think so. On here, did you put something about Jack on here? But yeah, I mean, part of me wanted to give up when I wasn't at work and hide and just give up. But God,
no.
God said not today.
Like I said, I think we have two choices, and not that I call them my pity parties.
Yep.
I allow myself 3 days that I can just sit around and feel sorry for myself and have a pity party. And then after the 3 days, hey, Joe, you get back to life again.
Oh, okay. I see it now, Penny. Okay, I will write that down. I see it now. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm looking left and I'm looking right and I don't want to miss something. So yes, I'm writing it down. I see it now.
Hi, Peggy. How are you doing?
Thank you for reminding me, because sometimes the chats go, I sure did. I wrote that down. But yeah, oh, good morning, John. Good morning.
Yeah, it's built vintage. That's John.
It is, yes. Okay. So do you know John?
I don't.
Okay. John, this is Josie or Joe, and I am going to put her link out there. I want you to add her, and she will be doing, oh goodness, I met her because Casey, when he started doing jewelry. And so it's been over a year now that I've known Joe, over a year, because, oh my goodness, mine is going up on a year in March, and Casey had his going for much longer. So, but John, she's got a jewelry crafting channel, but also she will be doing a grief channel. She just doesn't know yet what she's going to call it. But
I want suggestions. I want a title that is inviting that people will want to come in and listen. And just maybe, I might help someone.
Yeah, because Destiny, the Pixie Shamrock, with her mental health, thing that she started, there's a lot of people that shares, because mental health is such a wide thing, like you said, where they used to put women in an asylum because they were going through the change and had hormonal changes and outbursts and stuff that they didn't understand. And also they would put them in there if a man wanted to divorce his wife, he could throw her in there and divorce his wife. But so then all of a sudden these insane asylums were closed down, and you've got people that don't know where to go. They're having feelings they don't understand. And so, yeah, Casey said that's where the term hysteria comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, when some of the mental institutions were closed, I, at that time, was working in a nursing home, and we actually got about 12 of the patients that weren't, that severe, but they did have a lot of serious problems. But a lot of them they were just turned out on the street. If they didn't have family, they were out in the street.
Yeah. And all families aren't equipped to treat somebody if they're not medicated. They don't know how to treat somebody that's schizophrenic or severe bipolar. We didn't have those terms. Bipolar, right. But I know my mom, my brother, probably me too, because they call it in the South, they call it flying off the handle.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
that one before
you hadn't. It's like, you got to watch her. Should you fly off the handle at any time? And that's sort of like where something just sets you off, and you just tell somebody about themselves. Oh, there she goes, flying off the handle. That's what they call it in the South. I thought everybody knew that.
John wants to know if I'm a grandma. Yes, I have 3 grandkids.
Oh, I thought he was wondering if you were Grandma Josie. Well, no, she is a grandma.
Yeah. Yes, I am Granny Josie. I changed my name to Josie's Place recently.
No, she's not Grandma Bling Talker. No, Hers was it used to be Granny Josie's. No.
And Granny Josie was all one word.
Yes.
There is someone else that has the name Granny, but it's spelled Granny.
But I sure ain't never heard of Grandma Bling Talker.
I have not heard that one either.
I think I'd have to look that up just to see, because John, I'm curious. I am curious.
I got to look that one up too.
He said he was thinking that's what you could say.
Oh, I'm sorry, John.
I did that. Look, and then Casey said, Grandma Bling Talker. I just pictured Joe with some giant hoop earrings. I don't think so, Casey. You're not going to, don't you be trying to tell Joe what to wear, because she's like me. Casey, you ain't dressing me up.
No.
Good morning, LizzAnn. I did not send out the link to Christian Womanhood because Joe's on here, and I wanted her to be able to tell what she's wanting to have done, and what her new channel that she wants to do.
Well, you can. Hey, it doesn't bother me if you want her to come in. I have no problem with that.
LizzAnn, when you get home, let me know. And hello, Cyclee. I met him yesterday. So you guys, Cyclee, he has, I watched his one of his intros, and of course it is him taking pictures. All women don't have it, ain't just women that will show their photos. He's a very nice looking young man. And so I see a lot of you guys I met yesterday. It just tickles my soul, and I'm glad it's today so you guys can get to know Joe. And there, I'm going to throw that link out there again.
Oh, I got 801. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
See?
Wow. You know how long it's been? I've been trying to get 800.
Yay. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for showing the love. See there?
That's wonderful.
See?
I appreciate that.
Showing that love. And so you're going to already be set up. So when you start that, your other channel, we will bring it right back with the new with the new one, the new name, and we'll have to do a name reveal. We'll do something, Joe.
Yeah,
we will
I'm going to do a little video this afternoon, and I kind of want to make it a fun, maybe a little contest or something, and see with all the names that I get. I'll give it a week, and then like by next week, I want to start my second channel. I just, it's not going to be just my opinion or my research or based on my medical background. I want input from subscribers. If they need to talk about something or they want me to, I love doing research. I mean, that's just, I can spend hours on just researching different subjects. And if I can help one person, because I wish somebody had helped me. When I lost my daughter, 6 months later, I divorced my husband. And my older son had a lot to cope with. And I wish I would have had the skills that I have today. Life would have been different.
Yeah. And, I keep bringing up Destiny, her channel. I mean, there are people out there, Joe, that's looking for somewhere they can share in a safe environment, know, and when, just like you didn't know that I had a little brother, that was killed and that my mother didn't cope well with it. And so she's lost 3 sons. My brother, about the time I come out of work, he died of pancreatic cancer. So that was her last son. And he didn't make it to 50. Now, you would think because she's got 3 girls left, but she just is her. And, she still doesn't have anything to do with one of my sisters. And, I asked her, you just got 3 kids left. You had 6, but.
It's like your heart has that hole in it. Like it's a missing part. It's a puzzle piece. And it's like my older son and my daughter were 14 and a half months apart. And with her muscular dystrophy, she was very thin, and he caught up to her in size. And it was like they were twins. And I had a hard time coping with, what kept me going is my younger son was a baby, and I had to get up in the morning and I had to care for him. But I feel like, not that my older son was neglected as far as care, but I didn't give the emotional care. I didn't reach out to him like I should have. And I think in most cases that's what happens. People are they're drowned in their own grieving, that they forget family members.
Yeah, emotionally emotionally shut down.
Right, exactly. And so this is what I'm hoping to help a few people.
I have a picture beside my bed, and it sits right by my bed of my side, like my family. You know, Keevan, of course, we got pictures all of our bedroom because it used to be the living room, and it's just the old pictures in there are from Francis's time, you know. But I look, one side of the wall is my side of my family, and sometimes I look at that, Granny, and I have laid in my bed and cried because half of us are gone, you know. And the way we're set up, it was me sitting on the only picture that we ever had of all of us together, except for my baby brother. But it was me, then my older brother, then my mom, my dad. You know, we were like girl, boy, all the way across the couch. And then I've looked at that, Joe, and just like you said, half are gone.
Yeah.
All of them, you know, and I've sat there and I've had grief. I've laid there and cried before. I'm very melancholy sometimes. And I have days that I will look at that picture and just cry because we're half of my family, you know, immediate family, we're gone. They're just gone.
Yeah.
And I didn't love one more than the other. It's different. Each was different. So, you know, yes, there is a place for your grief channel.
And excuse me, me and my allergies in the morning, I sound like a frog. And anytime that, like I said before, the 2 or 3 people that I've reached out to, they have emailed me privately, and that will always be kept private. I will not ever reveal names. If you want to write to me and discuss, or even tell me a little of, you know, what you're going through, that is kept private. And so I will encourage that too, if anyone has any needs on the new channel, because sometimes you just need to vent. You need to have somebody to talk to.
And you've got some people out there. LizzAnn has some, you know, you can go back later and look to see what the ideas of LizzAnn, coping with loss, living through grief. Yes,
a lot of great ideas.
And for you guys that are new, a lot of you guys that are new today, I met you yesterday on Dave's channel, and you know, Dave, he will let you know that he is a Christian channel and how he feels. So this is a Christian content channel, and you know, of all things today, before we come on, I just thought of the title was, you know, Proverbs. Somebody put out the scripture yesterday of Proverbs. They liked something, but what got me this morning was when I thought, what scripture do I put today? And I'm going to do the banner, you guys, for a little bit, because this is a good thing I like, Joe, is they have a scripture, but it's Proverbs 31:8-9. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. And that doesn't necessarily mean money. The poor and needy are poor in spirit, poor in heart. And we have to speak up for those that can't speak up for themselves. And, you know, like Joe said, she's never been one not to just speak her mind.
Oh, yeah. I'm actually, I'll admit, sometimes maybe too blunt, but I feel like honesty and the truth is just what the Lord wants me to be and do. And I don't believe in being cruel about what I say, but I won't tell you everything is beautiful and wonderful and behind your back say just the opposite. It's not my style.
Liz says your current name is perfect. Maybe change your jewelry. Well, see, then you can't change the jewelry channel, Liz, because they have to be able to find her jewelry channel because she's going to continue her jewelry channel, sort of like how Casey already had set in place his jewelry channel.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Porch Church Network, and now he does everything from that now.
Yeah. And I just changed my name, and you're only allowed, I think, like, can't remember if it's 6 months or a year. You're only allowed so many changes. And I just changed from Granny Josie to Josie's Place. So I can't change that. But
I like the Josie's Place, but I mean, I
do too. It's more me, I think.
Yeah, because Granny Josie, I think when I first went there, I'm like, wait a minute, this woman don't seem like no granny. I mean, you've never seen like a granny, Joe.
Well, I'm very blessed, I have to say, and I don't mean to sound conceited in any shape or form, but for 78, God's been good to me with grief and tragedies in my life. I still have had a beautiful life. And I actually, when I was a nurse, I took care of younger people than I am now. So even with aches and pains and all of that, I have no complaints. Life's good.
You know, good morning, Kim A. Good morning. Thank you for being here. And we have Josie's Place on, and I'm going to put her channel. And you guys need to go make sure that you are subscribed, because she's going to start doing a grief channel. And she's on, what do you call it? What do you call it? East Coast? Where you're at?
I'm on Pacific.
All right, but all right, she's
on Pacific time.
She's on California time. That's how we say it. California time. Yeah. So, you know, that would be a good channel for people that don't always. Okay, Jennifer says West Coast. I said, look, California time. I'm on Alabama time. But, you know, sometimes people can't get here because it's so early. Yeah. So you'll have another place. I say you can't have enough good places to get with some good people.
Well, and where I do my videos too, say you're having a hard time sleeping, or you have a problem that you don't feel like you have a family member or a friend that you can discuss it with, and you want to just go watch my video. And maybe I might say something that might help, might not. I mean, but there might be something in the content that kind of gives you the feeling that, yeah, you can do this. You can get over this. It's, and grief, you never stop missing that person that you love and you lost.
Yep.
But I look at it this way. Would my daughter have wanted me to stop living?
Nope.
I don't think so. And my belief, she's waiting for me. And someday I will see her again.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, Joe, you was talking about, somebody coming across one of your videos. That's how I met Traci. Mm-hmm. I just happened to come across her video, and I just happened to come across, and that's, most of you guys, like in the jewelry community, I met because of Casey. Right. But, thank you, Cycly. This is every morning. He says, I love the conversation at Norgasar. Thank you. But I didn't meet Nana's Treasure. I just come across a video of hers. And so there was a reason. I mean, what in the world just makes you stop at a video? And now me and Traci have been friends going on almost a year that we've been doing this. Yeah. And, I really firmly believe there'll be somebody that would be led to one of your videos, Joe, and be touched from your videos. And I just happened to come across one of your videos recently where you're just going to quit, your jewelry. And I come across that, and I was talking to, I tell you guys, I talked to the screen, and I was like, oh no, Joe, no. And I think I left a comment on that, and I'm like, no, Joe. So
yeah, I was really so surprised that I had to request, several people sending me messages requesting me not to quit, that I decided, well, I'm going to continue with that. Even if I'm just appreciated by a few, it doesn't matter.
yeah, I mean, I remember Nana's, and she was gonna quit Peggy, and I left her message. No, just we have to keep on keeping on. I'm trying to think, have I been to a point that I wanted to quit? I don't think so, because God gave me, right from the get-go, God gave me Traci. And it's so much easier when you have somebody that you're sitting with. Like, I feel like me and you just sitting at my kitchen table, Joe. And
I wonder who can out-talk the other one. We both like.
But look, I've got to be more Italian than you, because I talk with my hands, and you're Italian. And
in person, I do talk with my hands. I'm holding the phone, and I'm holding my other hand down. So,
Casey's probably in there thinking, Joe, you just ain't gonna get no word in edgewise. He's probably sitting in there laughing. Oh, and both of us did it at the same time. Oh, and you guys, yesterday when I was looking at Sikkes' channel, and I run the video, you guys do it right. I'm gonna tell you, they don't keep, YouTube does not let you keep the person that you sub to if you don't watch one of their videos.
Right. Yeah, you have to go in and watch a video and make a comment, and that's what I try to do. That's a lot of my late night things. I try to do that.
And Sikkes, the Porch Church Network is my son Casey, and he's the one that told me, Mom, you need to do a YouTube channel. And I'm like, what? I can't get in front of the camera. So he done that, and he didn't do all this makeup stuff. I just Joe, at 55, I decided, hey, I'm gonna do some eyebrows, and I'm gonna use eyeliner. I'm gonna put lips on. So me and you got matching lips today too, don't we?
Do. And you're so bubbly. Even getting up early in the morning to see a smiling face and the bubbliness makes you want to just live and get going,
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, we need that. There's so much negativity in the world. And I don't even mean my, grieving to be negative.
No.
When you go through those stages, eventually you're going to learn to accept life and be happy. And that's my goal, not just to keep you in the grieving stages or, the negativity. You have to go through that to attain your goal of being happy and being able to go on with life and live.
And that's why, Ron, I could say it a lot faster. Thank you, Ron. Thank you. This is why we start the morning every morning. You're welcome. You guys new that are here, you're welcome every morning. Now, you guys, yesterday I ate 4 Pop-Tarts and finished off a thing of Ready Whip. And Casey done come in here. He said, Mom, you are not eating 4 Pop-Tarts today.
4 Pop-Tarts.
I did, and finished off the Ready Whip. So, yes. So yes, you guys, I do get excited. The love that is given makes me more, I do get wound up. I put it that way. I get wound up. But so the talking of grief doesn't have to be a negative thing. It needs to be positive.
And so many people when they lose a loved one or they go through some tragedy in their life, they don't want to think about it, and they put it in the back of your mind, but it destroys you when you don't get it out and discuss it.
Yes.
And yes, it takes time, and there's nothing wrong with crying and grieving and going through all the different 5 stages. But eventually you learn to live each day and be happy. And it just takes time. So there's something positive at the end. And it doesn't mean we don't go through those stages several times.
Yeah. I mean, I have my days, you know. Let me answer. Now, why did she is not going to know what in the world that typed all in one word? Okay. There it goes. But we do talk about lots of things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Cyclee. Look, I talked to the screen that day to you too. Oh, look, dude, you got it going on. You got it going on. Destiny, we got Joe. Joe needs a love. Everybody show Joe the love. And so that way, when she does start her new channel, she can show it on her other channel and everybody can follow her on over. Now, see, the Shamrock Pixie's the one that does the mental health on Saturdays.
I'll have to try to get to watching that.
Yes, because, oh my goodness, Destiny, what? It was 180 something people by the time it was through.
Wow.
A lot of people because, good morning, Pat. Good morning. Style with Pat is from Singapore. So we have.
I know her.
Okay. Ain't she's so refined. I love Pat.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I love her. So we have people right now from, I can't say Australia. We have some from there. We have people from all over the world. And I never would have thought that, you know, over a year ago. No, I wouldn't have thought that. But God has his hand in things.
Now, I would have thought that because and I'm not trying to butter you up. Remember, I say things like
you say,
this.
yeah.
You are a beautiful person inside and out.
Thank you.
Your heart glows on the screen. You have so much to offer people.
You know that I blame it on Casey and I blame it on Dwayne, Mothership Products. He used to tell Casey, tell your mama get out of the shadows. Come into the light. Get out of the shadows. And then somebody said, all I used to know is your feet. I would think, who is that sitting there without their shoes on? And it was me. And I'd have on my pajamas and I would not, be here.
Oh, a blanket around you or a shawl or something.
And, I would be hiding. And so I was kind of pushed out to say, God pushed me out there to share whatever it is that he wants me to share, Joe.
Your heart, your kindness, your love that you have for the human race. And I can feel you are who you appear to be on the screen. You are no different.
Mm-mm.
And anyone with a brain can figure this out, that you're pure.
Look, you guys, I'm like this when I go in Kroger and see my girls. And I go in like I'm at church or something. Hey, girl, woo! And I go up and I hug them. And I love people. And I love, that's why I go to, the other channels. And God says, cast a net. You cast a net. And if people, we come across people that come back because, like, for some reason, there's something about everybody that appeals to somebody.
Yep.
We all have a purpose and we all have a reason for being here.
And now, how should I say this? And I notice it on Facebook, we're not always going to agree with each other. We all have our own opinions, our own way, our own traditions, whatever. But I think we've lost the understanding to accept each other for who we are, what we are. We're so busy judging, and there's so much rudeness. And that really bothers me, that people are so rude at times.
Yeah.
And, it's refreshing to come on here with you, Darlene. It's refreshing that you're not that kind of person. You accept people for what you don't care. Well, I mean, it's not that you don't care, but you love them for who they are.
Yeah, and I mean, I even had somebody, ask me, how can you be so nice? And they said, I'm not a nice person. How can you be so nice? And I'm like, and that just, I'm like, I said, I'm just who I am. I have lived with a lot of things in my life, and because of those things, it made me strong. I don't feel strong sometimes, but I am. I just love people. I am a people person. I love people. And yes, people can let you down and people can hurt your feelings, but I'm sure I've hurt people without meaning to. I'm sure I have.
We all have. I mean, it's like I made a statement, like I said, I am very blunt and don't mean to hurt anyone, but I call it like it is. And I made a statement on my Facebook page. If you don't like what I post, go by and don't read it. And, and if you don't like this, you know what you can do. In other words, unfriend me.
I rarely do YouTube. I mean, Facebook anymore. It's mostly YouTube, and it's more like face to face to me. But I was I don't know what my thought. You guys know I lose my channel. Oh, you are, girl. I done checked again. 803. You guys, thank you guys for showing.
Wow, bless you.
Thank you guys for showing Joe love. And you know what? God says you're gonna hit your 1,000, girl. You're gonna hit your 1,000.
Well, I can guarantee you that when and if I do, I will be the same person. I have watched a few people that were so open and so loving and kind until they reached 1,000, and all of a sudden their personality changed, and I'm who I am.
When Casey told me, Mom, quit worrying about your numbers, because I told people I never want my number to be over the Porch Church Network. That's what it's about. And Casey come in here one day and stood at the thing, and he said, Mom, stop worrying about your numbers. I wasn't worried that I wasn't getting enough. I did not want to surpass the Porch Church Network. So I let it go, let God got it, to 1,000, and I had 300 October, and I hit 1,000, and it was God. No way I could have done it. So
Casey's he's just got to get his health intact and feeling better.
Yep.
And he's got a lot to offer.
He does.
And the honesty, a lot of people hide their feelings and they pretend to be somebody they're not. But Casey doesn't.
Mm-mm.
And that's a plus.
Casey's like me. What you see is what you get.
Right. See, and I respect that more than people who pretend to be something. That's why I won't be any different. I won't lie that I'm not opinionated. I am opinionated, but you'll get an honest answer from me. I won't lie. And I take pride in that. So, and under that strength that you see, and I've got a really tender heart. I can cry watching cartoons, by the way. I do. I have a tender heart. The strength that I portray is because that's how I survived.
Yeah.
I had to be a strong woman to survive death, divorce, a difficult childhood, a mom who was into psychic stuff to extreme, which
Oh, wow.
is taboo to me. I won't have anything to do with it.
Mm-mm.
And I gave my life to the Lord, and I am who I am. And I didn't mean to get on this, actually.
No, that's what we do. I mean, Joe, and that's what we do. And so when you do yours, find somebody that you can have on your panel that you know you can interview, and that helps. That really helps. That if you get somebody up there and they talk of their grief, then people in the chat, they will just pour out.
Mm-hmm.
They will pour out what they've had to hide or suppress or feel like they are alone in their grief.
Yeah. And
God will bring them in. And sometimes if it's just like us, like you said, you didn't mean to share that, but there was a reason. There was a reason.
I just think that every second is so important in your life and so special. What I say when I first get up in the morning, thank you, Lord, for another day. And I don't sit around and think about, gosh, you're 78 years old, you ought to just sit and do nothing. I fill my life with so much. And that's, I think, I'll use for an example. When I worked in the nursing home, the latter part of my career, there was a lady who was in a wheelchair, and she just sat and watched TV, and her family told me, she was a legal secretary for one of the politicians, was an active person, very sharp. But when she retired, she decided she was just going to sit in a chair and eat chocolates and watch TV. And she ended up in the nursing home much too young because she had lost all the drive to live. It was just like, I'm retired. I don't need to do anything. And when I retired, I taught myself the computer. I can do almost anything with the computer. You got to keep your mind busy.
That's what Frances, once she started going in, I mean, she did have Google Hangouts. She did have people she talked to, but once she started going into the jewelry community, then she started coming on at nights with Sandy, and everybody knows who MawMaw is. It went from, It went from, I'm Casey's mom, to all of a sudden, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be Norcus now, and now I'm, that's MawMaw's daughter. Wait a minute, I went straight from Casey's mom to MawMaw's. But I say that in jest because everybody knows who MawMaw is, and if you don't, you will, because she'll sneak in here sometimes.
She's amazing, though.
Yeah, she stays up late, so I don't complain because, I love to hear her in there talking on that computer at night and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when she has health problems, it's bad, but it's good that the last health problem she had, and she couldn't come out of her room, Joe, for 2 months.
Wow.
It was like worse than a little prison in there, and it was depressing to me. But you know what? I would hear her in there laughing, and nobody would know that she was so bad that she couldn't, her legs was bothering. She couldn't even get out of her room. You wouldn't have known. She was in there laughing and carrying on with, people on the computer. So it's been her saving grace.
Mm-hmm. And I admire that she's never given up. Yeah, we all have days that we'd like to, like I said, I call them my 3-day pity party.
I had a 3-year.
And once in a while, I will allow myself, life gets to you. And then I have a very, very dear friend who's like a sister who lives in Oregon, and she'd call me up and she'd say, "Joe, get off your butt." and very blunt, kind of like my personality. She was very, very blunt. She said, "Get off your butt and get to living." And I learned to get over, like I said, I allow 3 days. After that, hey, you keep going. And life is good.
I should be really ashamed for basically the 3 years that I just was in that bedroom in there and so depressed. And Casey would come in there and check on me to make sure that I wasn't giving up. Hello, Tony. Good morning, Tony Sue. Good morning.
I'm so glad I found Tony's channel. Oh my God.
I know. Tony, you have had a lot of people telling me, especially NASCAR man 3345 Derek. You've had so many people that you've touched here recently, and people that have come across your channel. And God's gonna, God brought our channels together for a reason. And you guys, if you don't know Tony, please.
And I see, what I said about your warm heart. I see that in Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because the first time I watched him, I thought, oh, wow.
Energy.
It's like you can feel the Lord. I mean, you feel the warmth. It comes across the screen.
Singing for the Creator. She has a wonderful channel, and that's where I met Tony. And so many Christians that was given, putting the word out there about everybody's sins, and we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. And people throwing scriptures, I'm like, oh my goodness. It was like walking in a candy store, and that's where I met Tony. And she just puts it out there, and then she'll sing a little bit, and then she, talks about people's channels. And I'm like, so much positivity in this channel. Mm-hmm. We come across some, it's supposed to be Christian channels, and they are so negative, and they can be so negative. But I have met some great Christian channels that aren't ashamed to say, I stand for the Lord. And
I will never, even if it costs me my life, I will never deny the Lord.
No, we because guess what? One day we want him to tell us, well done, my faithful child. Well done.
I've always said, on earth, this is just a school. We're here to learn. The real home is in heaven.
Yeah, it is. And our purpose is to reach as many people as we can. And, if something were to happen to me tomorrow, I know that there is that one person that sent me an email and told me that they found, they turned their life back over to the Lord. It wasn't because of me. They just had my email address, but they said me and Traci and the show and the people on like LizzAnn and then Destiny that. So I say, if something were to happen to me tomorrow, I've had a wonderful life, blessed life.
Mhm.
You know, my son ended up being a preacher. Now, who would have figured? Joe, would you have figured now when you first met him on the jewelry channel? We love him. We love him.
I'm out of line asking this question, but Casey, forgive me for asking if you're still there. Do you have any hair? I want to know. Oh, oh. I've had that. I don't know why. I listen to Casey and I often wonder. I think Darlene's asking him something.
Oh, he says his head wraps are his hair, but he shaves his head. But yes, he does.
Okay. I know that's terrible.
No, because you know good and well, Joe. You can. There he is.
No.
Casey. No, you guys, my son is so silly. He's doing the whipping scalp.
I love it. I just had to ask you, Casey.
You know good and well, Casey is fine about that. But you guys, he does have his head wraps, and sometimes he'll do the little fringy on it. But you know good and well, you can ask Casey anything, Joe.
But I just had to do that. Anyway, I kind of got off the subject here, didn't I?
But you know, Casey would tell people, he'll say, "You would not have liked me a year ago." Well, before he said he started reading the Bible and doing Bible reading, he said his Facebook was very negative and stuff. And I used to tell Keith, and he'd say, "Did you see what Casey posted?" I'd say, "Keep going, keep going." I'm just saying, keep going, keep him. Just but God is touched. He's touched this family, Kevin. Now, Joe, Kevin, he loves it. And when he gets a break at work, he'll come in and see what everybody's doing. And he told me, he said, I'm proud. He said, I love seeing you and Christian women. He said, I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And at first, before I ever started this, I asked him, I said, babe, I said, Casey said, I need to start a YouTube channel. I want to know what you think. Is it okay that I will be going live in front of people? And he said, sure. And, that is how my relationship with him is. And for that, he says God has blessed him when he sees me happy. Because for 3 years, Joe, I wasn't happy. When my own son would have to go in the room and check to make sure I was still alive.
Yeah. I know, I'll have to say the year after my daughter died, I hardly remember that year other than, I had a baby to take care of and my older son, but it was just like a blur. And I kind of lived in my own little world and like I said, divorced my husband. And he's still alive. He's 80 and a good man. But like he said, we were young. And so I can understand, your 3 years of, I did and said things that I wouldn't do today. And so, we're all, like I say, we're all sinners. I don't care what you do. We're all sinners.
I came out of work and it was there was a lot going on. I'll say it with my daughter back then, and then with my brother with pancreatic cancer. Then when my body was breaking down to where I couldn't work, and that's what the doctor said. Well, I come out from being like this at work with, all my ladies, all the girls that call me mom, into a room. And, God, he knew what he was shaping, or else Casey wouldn't ask me one morning, Mom, have you ever read the Bible from front to back? And I said, no. Well, would you like to? I said, sure. And that started it all. And that's, you guys, I think my first video of my own was April, either the end of March or April. And I never would have, thought I'd be here. And finding other Christian channels. Oh my goodness. You guys, it is amazing. I tell people, don't stay in just the jewelry. Don't stay in just the jewelry community or just the resale community. When somehow I came across, my other friend, he really started my grow too. That was, I've got it on here, Barefoot Adventures. Oh my goodness. I met people that traveled in their RVs. It was fun. I met them. And then I met Super Dave, and he's amazing too. And then, I met such great different people. The world is huge. Go out there. Yes, Ron says it's definitely great to find all the other Christian and positive channels on YouTube.
Yes, very true.
And yes, LizzAnn said, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23.
Yep.
And I fall short very much. You know what? Me staying in my room for 3 years because I could no longer work, and I still, the only income, I don't have income of my own. That really bothered me, you guys. We lost our truck, but we still have our home. We lost things that should not have mattered to me because my husband kept saying, don't worry. But it was hard not to worry when I felt like I was a financial burden.
Well, it was a shock. Your life was devastation to you because part of you that you knew was gone. You could no longer work.
Yeah, 50 years old. No, I was not supposed to. Okay, Tracy's answering, but you guys, at 50, I was supposed to be like my mom. My mom is almost 80 as well. And she's always been a spitfire. And I was supposed to be like her. I was. I never did anything slow. Everything was at a fast pace like I am now. And then all of a sudden, at 50, I can't work. Casey helps me up and down the back deck steps. He worries about, he shouldn't have to worry. I am 55 years old, and he shouldn't have to worry. But
look what you have to offer, though.
But see, now, yes, I come on here, and I'm sure a lot of people think there's nothing wrong with you. I'm glad you think that, because I don't want that to show.
Yeah. See, I'm very blessed at 78 to be, I still work, I still am active, but I do have pain every day. No one ever knows that. I have a chronic problem with my shoulder. I don't know if anyone's familiar, but I have Chiari. It's Chari, and I have Chiari 1. And it has something to do with the brain stem. And we have tonsils, and mine are too long. And when I got a whiplash, they crammed. And so the whiplash caused the tonsils to cram down, and
Oh.
so I have a chronic neck and shoulder problem. But I don't let it get me. To me, it's mental. If you are determined, no matter what, and the only thing occasionally, if the pain gets too bad, I'll take some ibuprofen, but I do not take anything else.
Well, one day on here, we'll joke about our pain, Joe. One day we all got talking about our hardware that we have, and I'm like, wait, I have the bionic neck, and then and I think this one woman that was on, she has a metal bar that goes down her spine, and then she has all kind of issues. But we kind of laughed it off. We're like, yes, we are bionic women. We have hardware. Good morning, Joy. Good morning. Good morning, Joy. Joy, I want to introduce you to Josie. And Joy, she will start she's wanting to start a grief channel. Well, she's already talked about that on her channel. But she's going to branch off. And I really think, Joy, that is going to be good for you. It's going to be real good for you as well. There's, one day we were all sharing stuff, and I found I had a lot in common with Joy. And so in sharing, Josie, I have met a lot of people, and we have to laugh at our iniquities. We have to. Yeah. If not, I'd be shut back in that room.
No, we don't ever want you shut. I don't want anyone shoved back in a room without being able to express themselves, somebody to talk to. No matter how bad life gets, if we can find one reason to go on, one reason. And my reason is the Lord and my family. My prayer is that I can live long enough to see my grandkids get a little older, because my son didn't get married until he was 38. So my grandchildren the oldest is 12. And I just love them to pieces. And I'd like to at least see them get into high school before it's my time. But whenever it's my time, it is. But we have to have some reason to keep going. And
that's what God is intended. He tells us, look, Paul kept going when they had him in prison.
Exactly.
I mean, he kept sending out notes to he kept encouraging. And he also got on some of their toes as well. Yes. In some of his letters, say, hey, I hear this is going on in the church. You got to stop doing that. Or, he cried out with his afflictions. And he talked about the thorn in his side. We don't know what the thorn was, but undoubtedly it wasn't meant for us to know what his thorn in his side was, because that was his. That was whatever he had to deal with. So we each have something in our life that we have to deal with between us and God. Mine might not be what Joe's is, or might not be what anybody else is, but we also have things in common. God gives us common ground to bring us together.
Right.
Or why would these people listen to what Paul said?
And my goal is, I think that we all have a time and place, and while we're here on earth, the Lord wants us to do the best we can. And everything's in his timing.
Well, look, I'm just saying, because people ask me how old I am, and I know they probably think you're 55, you don't need to be wearing a bow in your hair. Well, guess what? I'm going to wear my bow. But I want to, if the Lord sees fit, that I'm around, Joe, at your age.
I hear, what really gets me is I hear women on Facebook and YouTube and in real life say they're old at 50. I was in the prime of my life at 50. I really was. 40s and 50s, I never considered in fact, I didn't admit, excuse me, I didn't admit I was old until I hit 70.
I don't know when my age is going to, I tell people, I say, hey, I'm 55. I'm proud to be 55. And age has never bothered me. And I think I told Traci, I said, I don't know when my age is going to bother me. I don't know what year. Me and Traci talked about because she just had a birthday. I don't know what year is going to bother me.
Just think, how old was Noah when he was on Earth?
Oh my gosh. Back then they lived forever, it seemed. Well, it was almost forever until they.
And how old was he when he was building the ark?
Yep. Oh.
Did he ever give up? Nope.
I ain't thought.
Nope. It's kind of, I'll tell a quick little story. I was at a social gathering. This was a couple years ago. And it's, it was a Christian gathering. So, religion was spoke of. And some lady who was sitting next to me was talking about, religion and stuff. And I said, well, I think we're in the end times. And she looked at me like, really, I didn't know what I was talking about. And she looks at me and she says, well, they've been saying that thousands of years. And I said, yes, and they didn't believe Noah either, did they? And she got all huffy and walked away. And that's what I always say. They didn't believe Noah.
And, I was listening. That one of my medicines, I have to be here when they send it because it has to be, they send it in it has to be refrigerated. So they send it in a package with dry ice or something. But, it says in the Bible, in the last days, it will be as in the days of Noah. So I had heard that growing up. So one time I just decided, wait a minute, even though I heard about Noah, 2 by 2, when you're kids, you hear that part. Yeah. But I had never really picked apart what was going on during the days of Noah. And when I saw it, my eyes were open to it, I'm like, oh my goodness. That would be like living in New York City in one of their housing projects with all of the people, and you are the only one in your little apartment that is not evil, that is not sinful and just evil. I mean, but that's how our world is going to be. Mm-hmm. The longer it goes on, it will be more and more as in the days of Noah. So that's why I am so excited when I come across channels like Tony's and Singing for the Creator. Tony says, 2 Peter 3, knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of the creation. Amen, amen. And I hear people say that. Oh, well, there's always been wars and rumors of wars, so we don't have to worry about that. Or, oh, the seasons have always been weird. We don't have to. No, you guys, people have to wake up. Yeah, there's signs in the Bible.
Signs all over. Just think, they talk like earthquakes, fires.
The weather.
I don't believe in climate change, sorry. But I believe the Bible.
Yes.
And there's going to be an increase in earthquakes and fires and all the devastation. The signs are all there.
They're all around us. And it says that everybody will know of him. Well, the internet, this is, even this, my channel is, I call it a small channel, but that we have people all around the world. And so that shows you all around the world, people are able to hear. Yes, Joy. I remember reading both the Left Behind series, and then I read the teenage ones. Yes, Liz, it says, but about the day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only. I think it says only.
We need to be ready every second.
Yeah, we talked before we went live this morning. A friend of mine went and fixed her coffee. Well, her husband said she got up to go in there and fix her a cup of coffee. He heard the cup hit the floor. She was dead before she hit the floor. She had a brain aneurysm. That was her day.
Yep.
That is the day, the hour and the day that Jesus sent for her. That's the way I look at it. We all have our day.
I've always believed that, and I had this discussion with my son about that last night. I said, I've known people who all their life have had severe medical problems and yet lived to be very, very old. And then you'll hear of someone who had nothing wrong with him keel over and die. Mm-hmm. I've always believed that in predestination, that we have a time and a place.
And, just this, yes, LizzAnn said the end of the world can happen for any of us at any time. Yes, we must be ready. We have to be. And, I am happier, I think, this week, because I found out, last week, I think it was, that there's nothing more they can do. I just have arthritis. It's not just arthritis. It hurts. They said I'm going to hurt. Bulging discs, that there's nothing they could do. Okay. Once they told me that, Joe, it was like weight taken off me.
Yeah.
Like, okay. No more doctor visits. No more.
That's why, and I'm so glad you said that, because that's why I'm a realist. And my personality bothers some people, because being a realist, I won't tell you a lie to make you feel good. But when, like now, where you just said that, you can accept it now and you will deal with it. If it means medication, more prayer, but your mind controls everything. And once you accept certain situations, even if they're difficult, I think mentally you learn to live with it. You learn to do the right things to survive. And at the end, you're a lot happier. The unknown to me is worse than knowing.
Yes, it was. Well, 2 weeks we will do the Vasette. And then 2 weeks later, we'll try it again. How did it do for you last time? I'm still hurting worse one time after an injection. Mm-hmm. And so, it finally, when they I had a pain management doctor, then my orthopedic doctor, when they said there's nothing more medically we can do. And I said, thank you. And I must have lit up like this. I said, thank you. And he said, you have the best attitude about this. And I said, no, I appreciate that you didn't do an injection today that you knew I did not need, or that wasn't going to do me any good. Right. I said, I understand. It's something I'll live with. So I'm okay. And he said, and he still looked at me like, okay. And I said, your facility has been wonderful. I said, this is a great pain management clinic. You guys have been the best. And he looked like he was not used to giving a patient what would have been a bad thing to have to hear. And I lit up and said, thank you. I mean, I don't want any more poking and prodding if there's nothing that can help. And I was through with it. And it seems like I've been happy ever since, you guys.
Yeah.
So Denise, her doctor office says sodium's still too low for surgery. Oh, Denise, you guys, yes. Denise, you guys, I love everybody. I love everybody that comes on here. I appreciate everybody. Denise comes on early, and this another one, Joe. In her pain, she never tells anybody. She comes in and asks how everybody's doing. Mm-hmm. She gives love and prayer to everybody. And that's what matters. That's
wonderful.
And I don't think that God would have, if I would have kept doing things the way I was doing, instead of finally just turning things over to God, because I was doing it one way. Once I just did it exactly like I thought he wanted it, he blessed us, and he's continually to bless us. And I got to see where, you guys, I want to see more blessings on Joe's channel. And you know what? She didn't come on here for more subscribers. I'm gonna just tell you guys.
No,
she sure didn't. I was just so happy when she come on, but yeah, she's gonna touch people.
Oh, with the hour, the time difference. I've been asked before, but most of the time I'm in my PJs.
And I told her that's fine, but she said no.
I don't come on without lipstick, you know that.
AJC Magic. I've gone to chiropractors. I would, if there was somebody around here that did acupuncture, I would try it. But we don't have anybody, and I can't afford massage therapy right now. I would actually, if we still had our pool open, my neck messed up, so we couldn't fix the pool. If we had the pool, I would have it warm, and I would get in the pool every day. I sure would. But things. If I ever get, when I get that blessing in that I've been waiting on since I've been out of work 5 years, if we have enough, we're going to fix the pool, and I want it heated. So that way I can get in the pool and move my joints. Because that's the only exercise they say I can do.
I like that.
And we do have a sportsplex. My doctor told me, the orthopedic, he said, you're close to a sportsplex. You could go, get in their pool. I said, I know I could. I said, I'm broke. I don't have money to go to their pool. But, I hadn't thought about that. I could find one, see, Lizz, I couldn't be responsible to help MawMaw in the pool or in the shower part. Because she's a fall hazard, and I've had a fall hazard, so that's what scares me about going to a sportsplex. That is absolutely that scares me. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think about that. I could not Georgia, but I could go to probably Southern Union. I hadn't thought about that. Where they, like I've done my hair before. I went and let them cut my hair for $5, where it's $25 for a trim around here. So I bet I could see if they have. I would love to have that done. But no more chiropractors. The doctor said, have you tried chiropractor? I said, yes, they won't touch me now.
Yeah, they can't. I can't go to a chiropractor and have my neck touched at all.
I have, Joe, they took out 5 of my discs, the middle 5, and replaced them. But they did x-rays, and he said, we can't adjust you. There was nothing they could do. TENS unit, I've got that. I can shock myself. I don't need to pay $75 for them to shock me. But I've tried everything. I do. But I think the best thing, you guys, and I'm going to tell anybody out there and a lot of the women out here, Joe, in the feed, we all have, that's why we're home and on at this time. But positive attitude to know there's a reason I have this.
Okay.
There is a reason.
I think about it this way, and then maybe it's just my thoughts, but say life was perfect. We had no aches and pains. We had no financial problems, no stress, no drama. Would we really take the time and look at the Lord and take him for our Lord and Savior? Would we really pray when life was perfect?
That's why I love that song, He's God on the Mountain. You can't appreciate the mountain unless you've been in that valley. But another thing, if I had not gone through what I did, had you not gone through, Joe, what you have in your life, could you really look at somebody and say, I understand how you feel?
No.
They would look at it as being condescending. Well, what have you gone through in your life? You have to understand what it means to walk in somebody else's shoes.
Right.
And, you can do that. You can be bitter. And I have a very bitter mother. I know a lot of people have lost their parents, and I'm not saying that disrespectful. I did a lot of trying to come out from under the shadow of a mental and physical abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying I have a very bitter mother, and she was that way before she lost any children. So I did not want to raise my children that way.
You sure we didn't have the same mother?
Probably.
I don't ever remember my mother getting up and saying, gee, it's a beautiful day and I'm happy. The only time I ever seen her smile is if she could buy something. And she was poor. But if she got something, or somebody gave her something, or somebody said she was beautiful. But in general life, the woman was never happy, and how sad. Mm-hmm. My heart breaks that she was never happy.
Up until the last time she told me not to come back, but come back around. And I was like a baby, crying. I begged her, not throw me away. I'm 55 years old. And it was just a few months ago. I was begging my mom, please don't throw me away. I said, you have 3 kids back left. How can you throw me away? You have 3. And she said, no, I only have 2, which meant me and my oldest sister. She didn't even acknowledge my other sister. So.
How sad.
Yeah. And so I come on, you guys. I come on the joy of the Lord, So God has let me sometimes see that she's sitting where she sits in her room and she smokes by a fan on the property that my brother had bought right before he died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't get to enjoy that property. And she's sitting there in the still of the night. God lets me know. She knows what she's done. She knows because God, and you know what? If my mom died today, she'd go to heaven. Now, you guys gonna wonder, well, how can she be so mean, or how can she be that way? And you say your mom's gonna go to heaven because God talks with her and she talks with God.
Mm-hmm.
She can be mean to me and she can cuss me. She does drink. She's an alcoholic, and she can say all the things to me she wants. But in the still of the night, God has talked to her because she has called me on the phone before and said, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
She said, I just was sitting last night by my window and you come to mind. Are you okay? Now, God, she does talk to God, you guys, and she sins. I sin, but yes, so she's bitter, and she blamed it on my dad, marrying my dad all those years. Well, you know what? There were other women back then that had 6 kids. There was women that had 12 kids back in the, you don't have to live your life bitter.
No, you don't. And it's a waste of time and energy. God brought us in this earth, and we shouldn't waste his time by being bitter and angry and hateful and vindictive, trying to hurt other people. Just be happy you're alive. And yeah, we each have to deal with different things.
And Joy, you're right. Joy says she's grateful to have had good health when her kids were young, and I needed to be active. Amen. Because when I was diagnosed at 40 with rheumatoid arthritis, I thought, okay, it's not going to bother me till I get my 80s. No. But what I thought was these poor children that have juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. I played as a child. I played. I raised my kids. I played with them. So, there's people that grow up with that from childhood or other things.
Yep.
Oh, Denise said, God filled me with so much love, and it's always there. I love people, and I want to share it. When God gives you a gift, you share it. I never go anywhere that I don't smile and love people. Amen. And that's true, you guys.
Yes.
That is Denise.
Yep. You never know. You can be out shopping somewhere, and that smile, it might be the only smile a person sees today.
I told a man in Goodwill, I walked by him and I said, good morning. And he looked shocked, like I actually spoke to him. And then I was keeping walking, and he said, well, good morning. And so I went back there and started talking to him. His name is David Lee. How I remember that name, and sometimes I forget LizzAnn's name. I don't know, you guys. My mind's weird. But yes, he was shocked.
It really bothers me where I live too. Like I said, it's 55 and over apartment complex, and there's one lady, I see her walk by to get her mail, and she has the most angry looking face, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm thinking to myself, can this poor lady find one thing to smile about? And I always say hello to her, but she never says anything to me, but I'll go by and say hello to her. And it makes me sad when people don't.
By you talking to her, Destiny said her little girl goes up and just gives people hugs. I hug people look, I've hugged people that I didn't know. And, AJC Magic, I am, if you don't mind giving just a first name, but I will put her, her on my prayer list because, yes, I believe, and this woman right here believes in the prayer list, in the prayer channel.
Yes, it is so important. We are strong as a group, praying as a group.
Yes. And I love that the Dollar Tree that I bought this, this little planner. That's what I write the prayers in. And we pray over these, and we go back and pray, and then we get a praise report. I'm so, we get so excited.
Yeah, there's a part, in my angel prayer group that every once in a while I'll put a post about posting praises, good things that happen in our life. Because when you think about it, it could be even a small little thing, but there are so many reasons to praise the Lord.
There is a woman that never smiles at the fuel center, Kroger Fuel Center. Yes, we have prayer warriors. That's what we call it, Joy. But this woman, she's never smiles. So one day I told her, I said, now, you know what? I'm going to get a smile out of you this morning. And she laughed. I said, see, you got a beautiful smile. But every time I would walk up, she just had that same look. That's just her look. So when I'd see her, I'd say, am I going to get that smile? Am I going to get that smile? And she ends up laughing. So, you know, there's some people, they might not have but one customer a day that makes them smile. And that's why I do what I do, because we never know what somebody is going through.
Right. There's a lot of lonely people out in the world, and no one to talk to, or no one who cares. And I will put, in my Granny Josie shop, once in a while I'll post something like, how about making a phone call to someone you haven't spoke to in a long time? Just little things like that we get so busy in our life we don't think about. You might have a friend you haven't talked to in several years. How about getting on the phone and saying, hi, how are you?
I had Joe on.
Hey, Josie.
Hey, MawMaw.
She can't hear you. She said, hey, MawMaw, how are you? Because I had to put these ear things in because I end up with my speakers echo. I cannot get it right.
Is Traci on too?
Well, she's hurting so bad.
She's supposed to go to the doctor.
Yes,
today.
she's going to the doctor to get her injection. And
well, how cute.
And poor Traci, with two of us that like to talk.
Bless her heart, that gave her away. Look, me and Granny's on, me and Joe's on here, and it's like we both talking at the same time. And we both have on that red lipstick this morning.
Yeah, we're motor mouth.
Well, Joe, that's me. And then sometimes me and LizzAnn, we'll be talking all over each other. But you know what? That is how we are every morning. I mean, that's what we do. Let me see what Liz said. Liz said,
So good.
I consider it my second mission in life to make people smile and laugh. My first is to share the Lord with people by my words or my T-shirts, etc.
Oh,
Yes.
how sweet.
Yeah.
Yes. And Liz, I'm blessed, Joe. That's all I'm saying. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I am blessed at home. There ain't not one time that MawMaw said, well, I don't know what we're going to do about the bills. You need to get a job. And even with Casey, she doesn't tell him that because he drives us to where we have to go.
Like
Like MawMaw said today, he's got to take her to the doctor. And, yes, he's caught flack sometimes. Well, why ain't he working? And, MawMaw has fallen before, and he's the one that's had to help get her up, or me. He stays scared to death. Don't want nothing to happen to his mama or his MawMaw. And
sometimes, we don't have to just have money to say we have something to offer. I know we have to have money to survive, but it's like you just said, he's there for you to pick you up, to drive you places, to care for you. And even look what you have to offer. You have a family. MawMaw is not alone.
And
you have a family.
And I told him, I said, well, next time somebody says something to you, I said, tell them you are a homeowner and you are a full-time caregiver. Do you know there's no way that we could afford to have a full-time living caregiver or somebody that would come when Kevin went to work and leave when Kevin left.
Right.
There's no way we could afford that.
No. People don't,
there's
I live on Social Security and a little bit that I make working 3 days a week and selling jewelry, and I know what it's like.
And, and so there's people knows the easiest way to, get to Casey is say something about his mama. Louis, you don't talk about Southern people, mama. But, people know that. And there have been, people that have basically, they said we called us trailer park trash.
Us Southerners, that's the first thing we say is, how's your mama?
Yeah, how's your mama? But I said, are you serious? I said, we don't even live in a trailer. This house has been in the family. It was built for this family, and it was built in 1914.
Those kind of people just want to put other people down to make themselves feel good.
And I told him he was angry, and he did kind of retaliate. And then I told him, I said, nope, just take it down. Don't give voice. Don't give voice.
Yeah.
But just love one another, and you guys show some more love to Joe. Are you on Joe's channel?
Yes, I am.
Well,
Yes, yes.
do you know, Joe, that you have to go back sometimes and check? There was one day I checked, I was unsubscribed from Traci.
Yes. Yeah, I actually checked my subscriber list pretty often.
There's 4-Speed.
Oh, my Tim.
Oh, don't even start.
Hi, Tim.
I
Tim,
appreciate all the love.
I want to introduce Josie's place. This is Joe. I want you to show her some love. And she does she talks of grief and the different steps. Oh, he said, yes, hello at MawMaw, and he threw you some loves and hugs in there.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, LizzAnn's been on my channel. Another part of my personality, I should have been a detective instead of a nurse. I'm a very curious person. But I do check my subscriber list once in a while. And I know you can't see the ones that keep their private. But it's a good idea, too, to check this, because sometimes YouTube does screw up. And you think you're subscribed to someone and you're not.
Or they'll just take it away, So I do what I do a lot of times, because I usually, like, if you like now you're in here and I can kind of, as you're talking, I can check things out, and I'll go through and check people out. 4-Speed, there is Joe's channel. What did you start out with this morning? Let me check. Let me refresh, because you are 804 right now.
I had 797, I think, when I started. So
we need more than you guys. I'm just saying, guys, show that love.
I appreciate that. This is fantastic.
You got to show the love. Well,
and I am going to, like I said, do just a short video talking about a little bit about creating a second channel, and I want some suggestions for some names. I kind of like to, get other opinions.
Callie, she likes to be called Callie, show some love to Joe's channel. I've met her because my son through his jewelry channel, and I met Joe over a year ago. I think about September was about a year ago.
Yeah.
So I've known Joe a long time, and she from the jewelry community, but she also has a Prayer Angels on Facebook. Well, thank you, Denise. She said, y'all look beautiful today, ladies.
Thank you. Very nice.
Thank you. All these people, Joe, has been my blessings.
Well, I've seen you thrive. Like maybe you were a little more quiet when you first started with Casey, and you just have bloomed. I'll use the term bloomed.
Because
Like a flower, you just bloom.
I love people, and but the thing of it is, if it doesn't matter, Joe, I have been. I remember first time I started going on Dave's channel, and and doing some networking, and he told people, he said, she's a good Christian woman. You need to check out her channel. And he said, Norgasar, can you come up here and explain? And I'm like, I was laying in bed by Kiva, and I'm like, had my laptop out, and I said, well, I'm in bed. But you done threw the link out there. I just jumped on in. My head, I got bed head, and I'm laying there, and it's kind of dark in the bedroom. He said, well, there's Norgasar. She's in bed for real. And I said, and he said, tell us about your channel. And I said, you guys, this is me. I said, in the morning, I'll have on my makeup and stuff, but I'm just telling you, without or with makeup or whatever, this is me.
Yes.
And I have popped in, and I've been seen a lot of times with my head a mess because I just throw on a shirt real quick because somebody would ask me, would you go live? And that's what matters.
Yep.
I don't get caught up with my face and my hair. I don't. I'll be seen all different kind of ways, but my prayer is that the joy of the Lord is always here.
Right.
Always. And I can't say anything other than I have been blessed by God through YouTube. Very much.
LizzAnn put living with grief. That's a good one too.
Yes, because
like
you do live with it.
You live with it. You never get over it. You live with it. You learn to live with it. You learn to go on with your life.
Because I had grief over my siblings because each one of them was a tragic way to go. My little brother hit by a car. My oldest brother through suicide. He was 34. Then my brother 2 years younger, my little redheaded brother, he died of pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed in September. He died in December. And so all 3 ways was tragic.
Yeah.
All 3 brothers were different in my heart. But you guys, and yes, I've lost my father. I was ready for him to go. He had a stroke. He wanted to go home. So when God took him, I was glad I knew where he was. I know where he is. Mm-hmm. All right, AJC Magic. Thank you for coming.
Well, when my daughter died, someone came over to my house, and it was a gentleman that he wasn't officially a preacher, but he did go around preaching. And he asked me if I was angry at God. And I looked at him and I said, why would I be angry at God? And he said, well, he took your daughter. And I said, she went to heaven. I know that. And I said, she had muscular dystrophy. And I said, she could have suffered a lot more. The reason why she died, probably as soon as she died, muscular dystrophy affects the muscles. Mm-hmm. And it enlarged her heart. Mm. So she actually died of congestive heart failure.
And that is for an adult, that's bad, and you don't think of a child having that.
But I said, she never completely crippled. She could still walk. She could still go to school. And so I felt like as much it was horrible for me, it was a blessing for her because she didn't suffer like some children.
Yeah, and that's Still Winter Nation. I am going to throw out again Joe. She's on my panel. Joe, Still Winter Nation. He has a channel that he just has fun. He just has fun on his channel, and it's fast paced, and sometimes, whew, it's something. But there is Joe's channel, and I want to see her grow. I want to see her when she starts her grief channel. God's going to bless it. God's going to bring people to her channel, and they're going to say, finally.
I think it'll be more beneficial for everyone separating the channels. That's why I decided to do a second one. Because right now, if you go on my channel, I do have, there's 5 or 6 different videos, the 5 stages of grieving.
I've watched some of them before.
But I think it'll just be easier for someone who wants to go, and all my videos will be listed instead of having to sort through the jewelry ones and the sewing ones. This way, the grief ones will be on a separate channel.
One of these days, I'm going to have what I intended. I've got 2 videos that I did. I did a painting, and I haven't uploaded them, but it was supposed to be where I made things. And then Casey said, Mom, auction them afterward. But you guys, God said, look, dude and girl, this is what you're going to do. This is what you're going to do. Yes, I gave you that talent to paint and do that stuff. But you're going to do this. You still going to get to do that too. And I do have to say this, you guys, one of the most strangest, I haven't made out my God jars in a while, but I send out prayer jars, and it has to hit me. I could do it. I could start working on something, but the person's got to come to my heart and mind. I made the strangest one for Joe. It was unlike Joe. You guys, you would not look at that and say, that looks like Joe. But as I worked on it, the whole concept of a tree of life and the roots that we have to have down, the foundation. We have to have a firm foundation. And Casey said it looked like it was in a forest. And sometimes we go through life. Yeah. What do some people say? You don't see the forest for the trees. So there's a journey we all take. And for some reason, that small bottle, just a small bottle, was, I could see a journey. And then the rock is the foundation you have to have. And there was a perfect rock that was the same colors. The exact same colors.
Perfect.
And it's not frou-frou. Joe is frou-frou. Joe is refined. And yes, I could have, because it took me a year to finally, in doing the jar, and I just looked at it, and I said, okay, so I said, this is for Joe. I said, can you see it? He said, yeah, I see it. But you guys, it's, there's things that God speaks to you through different ways. Joe does jewelry. Joe does crafting. Joe art. So that was another thing that drew me to Joe, was because of being artistic and stuff. God-given talents that way. But
if I can't paint, you should see my painting. You would just, it's amazing. In fact, in high school, I took art, after about 3 weeks, the art teacher said, and everybody always called me Joe even back then, maybe you should go to the counselor and see if you can get a different class because you're going to flunk art. And truly, I am terrible. I can look at a piece of fabric or a piece of jewelry and I can create. I can see it. But I cannot paint or sketch, or I am terrible at art.
But my thing, I love when you do the crosses and stuff with jewelry.
Yeah, I can look at that and I can just see it. And I don't plan it ahead. It just comes to me. In the same way, you can show me a piece of fabric and in my mind, I can create it and tell you what it was going to look like. You give me a paintbrush or a pencil and I couldn't draw you stick people.
My sister-in-law does, Karen, she does beautiful quilts. I don't understand the whole concept, you guys. I don't understand that concept. I can't look at fabric and just see, oh, this piece of fabric. And MawMaw does dream catchers. No,
yes, beautiful dream catchers.
Yes, and she and I can't do them, but sometimes she'll say, "What do you think about this?" Now, she and I'll go over colors of feathers and stuff, and that works out. But
God gives us all a talent. We just need to find it.
Well, mine was a talent of gab. I got in trouble in school for that, you guys.
I used to giggle in school and got in trouble for giggling.
Oh, then I'm going to tell you, LizzAnn is the giggler. I told her that's her superhero. She is not the Riddler, but the giggler, because she gets her giggle box cut on, and so we all bring something different to the table. We all bring something different to God's table, you guys.
Yeah.
And we have to. And, and I'm going to have to say the verse again, you guys. Proverbs 31, 8 and 9. It's a it's a NIV. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. That means stand up for those that if you're in the store or something and you've seen somebody, just one of my best girls at Kroger, somebody had called her a very ugly racial remark. She was in the back crying, and that's the first time I'd ever seen her at the store. She just started. And an elderly man she was back there, and I walked up to her. I said, "Are you okay?" And her manager talked to her and walked off, and she was trying to compose herself. And I told her, I said, "Do not let him get at you. There are rude and ugly people in this world."
Yep.
And I said, "And I love you, and please just shake that off. Don't let him, just go back up there, wipe your eyes, hold your head up, and go back up there." And to this day, that's been years ago, and she's one of my girls. When I walk in, I love her. And it's because that day somebody came up and showed her some love after somebody else just tore her down. We have somebody, Joel. He is spiritual hero coaching. He's not on here. He's on Facebook. One day me and him supposed to be do interview. He doesn't let things get him down, Joe. He has spina bifida, and I'm gonna tell you, he does bodybuilding. He is amazing. His story is amazing, and I just call him my superhero because he does not let. He's just him. He's Joe. Yeah. He's not. He is a superhero coaching, and that's what he says.
I said it's all to me in the mind, because look at there's I've heard of say an attorney being blind yet had a good practice. People that are paralyzed. I mean, there is something everyone can do.
Liz, I did not know. She said her brother had that. and so does her niece.
Oh.
Are you? I did not know that. Hello, Eli family, 1983. I want to introduce Jo. I've known her for over a year, and she's from the other coast. We on opposite coast. So she's got up extra early this morning.
Set my alarm at 5. By 5:15, I was dressed, out of the shower, dressed, and here. No breakfast yet, but I'm here.
So she did that to come on. And Eli, I want you to get to know her, because I promise you, you will not regret it. And she will be doing another channel. She's trying to think of a name. She wants people to throw some names out there. So Joel, you're good with names. It's going to be on grief.
Yeah, and kind of, say if one of the subscribers wants me to discuss a certain subject, with my medical and my personal life in the book that I'm writing, if I don't have an answer, I love doing research. I will find an answer for you. So if there's a subject that you want to discuss relating to, grief or just dealing with life problems,
Anna Mora. Good morning, Anna. Good morning, Anna Mora. Good morning. Oh, jerk them out. But yeah, so Joe, be thinking and help Joe try to think of what would be a good name for her show. Leave her a message. Think about it, and watch one of her videos and leave her a message, and throw some ideas out there. That's why,
like I said, I will do just a short video stating this fact, and then in that video you can leave in the comment section suggestions for a name, because I would like to separate the two channels and keep the grieving one in just my new channel.
oh my goodness, you guys, I've had some people that come in, Think Dragon, he helped grow my channel too, very much. And there's so many people that God used to help. Well, good morning, Julie Drosy. She is on Facebook. Good morning.
Yeah, I remember, Darlene, when you were growing, and you went fast at the end. You got up there.
And I told people when they said, how in the world did you do that? Because October 10th on my birthday is when I went to a rheumatologist, and I was really, really depressed. And I tell this, Joe, it was real bad. I was so depressed that my doctor wanted to ask me, did I need to go in the hospital for depression? But when we pulled up and I got up on the back deck, I looked at Kevin and I said, you know what? I said, I have a number. And it was like I was doing a 300 giveaway the next day. I said, I see 500. And Kevin looked at me. He said, I don't doubt it. So I did the 300 giveaway. And then the next week I did a 400 giveaway. And the next day a 500 giveaway. There was no way possible that there's enough hours that I could have done that. It had to have been that God did it, because my laptop messed up. So I didn't have my laptop to use in the bedroom. Oh, wow. So, you guys, that is, I'm going to put our link back out. You guys, I want you to support Joe. And so I would tell people, I said, Think Dragon, Barefoot Adventures, Super Dave. I said, all these people, you go out there and you see, I'm not saying you subscribe to everybody. If there's a bunch of cussing or if there's sexual content or whatever, no. I just, Yes, Think Dragon. He said, is someone looking for a channel name?
Yes,
Joe, explain it to.
Suggestions. I want to separate my Josie's Place. Right now, I do have some grieving videos, but it's jewelry pop-ups, sewing tutorials, and I want to separate and do a second channel for grieving. I think it'll be more beneficial, more helpful. And there's people that are on jewelry and crafts, and they don't want to hear about grieving. So I'd like to separate it, but I'm looking for kind of a catchy, kind of a neat name. So any suggestions will be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm going to give it a few days. And I think this afternoon I will do a short video kind of explaining that. And then you can put suggestions in that video. And I think I might even have a prize for the person who.
That's something. And then you hit your 800 mark today.
Yes, fantastic. All because of Darlene and this wonderful group of people.
The good Lord, because somehow he put it on you to come on up here. And I'm going to tell you, I hit my 1,000 that night on Super Dave's, and it tickled me because he held his phone up to the thing, and it showed him he's my number 1,000, and he picks at me. He'll say, Norgazar, you said you had me a gift. I don't see that gift. Is it lost in the mail? And I said, no, it's on my table. I promise you. So yes, I've got to mail it, but I've met some great people, and we call it being, I go back to these channels to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, just because you got your mark, like you said, Joe, you've seen people get that mark.
Yeah, and they change.
And they don't want to help anyone.
And you haven't. That's what's so refreshing and wonderful. You have not. And I can guarantee you, if I ever reach 1,000, I will not change.
No, you'll be the same. And you know what? You won't be wore out and you won't be tired. I still go back. I go to Think Dragons because there's some other people wanting to get a goal. I go to Super Dave. And I love watching him anyway. And he sings. And he sang Amazing Grace the other day. And I sang it right beside Keevan. I had my headphones. And I was singing Amazing Grace. And I had my hand raised when he got to singing Jesus' name. Keevan's sitting there watching TV. I got my headphones and I'm just raising my hands to the Lord. And I'm singing. And oh, no, Think Dragon. We don't want no Granny Greaves.
No, Granny. I went from Granny Josie to Josie's Place. I got tired of being called Granny.
Oh, he's picking.
I know.
Dragon. So, I go to Dave's and to help somebody else, and to show love and support. Support those that you went to that helped get you there. Yeah. And, but you guys, people do, like she said, people change. Sometimes you find out who your friends are.
You do. And I have to say, I've been on YouTube for maybe a little over a year, and 95% of the people are wonderful. I've had a lot of drama. I've been attacked several times, and that's okay. That's part of life. I'm okay with that because 95% of the people are wonderful and positive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's important. And we just have to overlook the negativity and the people that, judge without really knowing you. Sometimes we appear different than what they think we are. But in my case, I'm like Darlene. What you see is what you get.
Yep. She's been the same for over the year that I've known her. And Think Dragon, he said, I'm just learning how many people are scammers.
Yes, there are.
You know, and bless his heart, he put his email out there one day, and I'm gonna tell this Think Dragon. He was on one day and he said, if anybody wants to know how I'm doing, he said, email me, or you know. So I didn't see him on a little while. Oh, Josie's place.
Yeah.
You are now connected. Thank you, Think Dragon.
Thank you.
But I didn't see him on for a little bit, and I'm like, where's he at? And I'd go on and try to find when the last time he was on. So I sent him an email. I sure did, to check on him and make sure he was okay, because you guys, his channel helped this channel grow and helped me meet so many people. So when he's not on, why do I not worry? You know, why am I not concerned if I don't see him on? That's the thing. You know, we have to care about the channels we go to. No, we can't touch base with all of them. But every now and then, like Joe said, when somebody comes to your mind, either send them an email. If you don't have their Facebook, everybody don't have Facebook, or just send a message and say, hey, I thought of you today. Todd, you know, the Flippin' Hustler, Todd, he sends me songs.
I love that. Isn't he's fantastic?
Yes. And when I see something pop up with his name and I know he sends me a song, it touches my heart, you guys.
Yeah, he is. I love his singing, and it's, I don't know, it just brightens up your morning when you get that little message from him.
But yeah, MawMaw, oh goodness, Think Dragon. MawMaw, you guys stop taking everybody from me. Now he's done gave MawMaw his email address. MawMaw knows everybody. String Cheese, thank you for being here. Thank you. Yes, it has.
That I've never seen before. I'm trying to make me a list here. I'm going to have to go back and
so thank you.
Their channel and stuff too.
And String Cheese, throw some love at Josie's place, please. And look, I'm gonna just tell you, String Cheese. Super Dave was on here one day and he said, String Cheese, where you at? I don't see String Cheese. Where's String Cheese? So that's the kind of channels, Joe, that we've had, you know. They shout each other out, and when I go in Think Dragon, I feel at home, you know, because he's you know, he shouts everybody out, but sometimes it's the way he shouts somebody out is a little different. So I
have a question, not changing the subject.
No.
Was Casey going on today?
No, Casey is taking MawMaw to the doctor.
Oh, okay.
He does, well, yesterday he was sick, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then we try to do some type of outreach on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today his outreach is going to be MawMaw.
Friday we're doing like an open forum topic.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay.
If anyone else can,
stumbling blocks.
Oh, that'd be a real good topic. Yeah, Casey, which is the Porch Church Network, my son's standing right here behind my computer. He said Friday we'll be talking about stumbling blocks. That is a very good topic to be talking about.
That's a good one.
Because there's many stumbling blocks that we come across in our journey for staying with the Lord, you know. As Think Dragon said, there's some scammers out there.
Yes.
And
And it's like my favorite saying is, you know, a lot of times people throw out, I love you so freely. But you know what? Actions are louder than words.
Yes, she said some people throw out I love you too much, and actions are better than words. Yes, and you know,
And how you treat people, and you know what you do, how you act.
yeah, and you know, and like Joe said, I am like this no matter what. I'm like this if I go in fact, if I go to Walmart or go somewhere and it takes me a while, Casey now will say, you must found somebody to talk to. I can always find somebody, and if I'm hurting real bad and I'm trying to get through to get a couple things at Kroger and I'm trying to get through real quick, I'll go by somebody. I say, love, hugs, or I'm sick, I've been sick, love, hugs from afar. But yeah, Elias said, you say I love you can be abused, but how about God bless you can also be abusive word too if you don't do if you don't do right.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
yes. And
No, I'm not saying it's, you know, I mean, everyone likes to hear the words, I love you, or, you know.
but it is overused sometimes.
And it's overused, and I've seen it, and I've used it on YouTube. So I'm not exempt from it, but sometimes people will say that, and then they'll turn around and actually mistreat someone.
They can say the word, but it's not in their heart.
Exactly.
It's not in their heart. But you know, let me see. Destiny the Shamrock said, sometimes you cannot tell if a scammer is right away. It can be, yes, and it can break your heart when you find out. I've had that happen. I mean, but when I tell you guys that you can reach out to me through Messenger, you can send me an email. That my email is on my About page. It should be. I keep trying to make sure it is. And I will respond to your email. I've FaceTime with people. I've had a wonderful time. People that don't want to go on here, you know, to face like on this, but still FaceTime privately, you know, behind the scenes. But I'm here.
You know, with my grieving channel and the grieving videos that I've already done, the people who have reached out to me privately, that stays private.
Yes.
And I will always respect that. In fact, I did mention in one of my videos in writing my book, if I came across a message that I really think would be beneficial in the book, I would always get written permission before I ever put it in the book. I would never. I believe in privacy.
Yes. And the same way, all right, me and Casey, you know, we're right here together, but there's been people that he would be FaceTiming with, because he's a reverend. And and I went to go in his room and he'd stop me, I said, oh, okay. And then I'd leave because he would be talking with somebody one-on-one privately, you know? So, and then I wouldn't ask no questions because what goes on with him privately as a pastor, or even with me, with somebody private. Mm-hmm. People have to know there's somebody out there that legitimately cares about them, that they can come to, and they can trust. Because without trust, I just don't. Boy, everybody's today wanting to ring the phone.
You're popular today, as always.
Scammers. But yes, we have to care about one another.
Yes, and we have to, you know, on YouTube and Facebook, we have to be careful. You can get drawn into situations that are not so good. And we just have to, put our trust in the Lord and pray about things. And
Yep.
one of my, I think, is a fault in me, and I'll admit it. And I've been this way all my life, and I'm trying to work it out. I'm kind of the mother hen, and I've always defended the underdog.
Me too.
And I've gotten myself in a couple of situations that I defended the wrong person. And I need to learn that I cannot take care of everyone. I cannot defend everyone.
Oh, I'm that way. And Elias said that's why they're afraid to make any videos, because I don't want to be drawn into debate. Now, see, you really don't have to. Casey does real good, my son, with the Porch Church Network, and so far it's been a lot of positivity. And I was worried. I won't lie. I told him, "Oh, son, I don't think that's a good thing to do. People like to tear apart a Christian channel. I just worry." So how about I was trying to talk him into not doing what he's been blessed with, and then what God watched over that channel, and then led to me doing this. What if I kept being scared, thinking, no, I'm afraid of what people might say, but God has blessed this. Do you want to show her, Joe, your hair?
Yeah, I want to see, Casey. Oh, handsome there, guy.
She's a handsome there, guy.
I can better watch out. Mama likes them young, handsome men.
Did you guys hear that? To tell Think Dragon, my son said to tell you to be careful, because Mama likes those young men.
Oh gosh.
Oh, but yes, you guys, we have fun.
Yes.
We have fun in the Lord, and you have to. Mama back there just laughing.
She done got the ohos.
See, we hear her back there laughing, and sometimes I don't know what in the world she's laughing at.
Well, how
And
wonderful that she can laugh.
I know.
And enjoy life and be a character.
Be a character. I still want to put the puppy's little what's those tennis balls that have the squeakies on her walker.
That would be good.
I want to put Vaseline on.
You can hear where she's at, huh? And I once in a while I have some time when I'm not working to listen to her on Just Sandy's channel, and she just thoroughly enjoys life.
She does.
Even if she's in pain or having medical problems, you could just tell.
Calico Callie said, "I want to be back there with you, MawMaw." Well, I'll tell you, Callie, MawMaw, she's got some real good videos out there. She caught one of me and Destiny on Destiny Saturday mental health thing, and she caught some facial expressions, and she made a whole YouTube video. Joe, you'll have to check it out. She's so silly.
Check it out.
But yes, MawMaw stays up late. MawMaw's in the later channels, Callie. MawMaw put out Sandy's, so that's where they'll find you, on Sandy's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought MawMaw said I just unsubscribed. Oh, she's a loving fossil. MawMaw, no, you ain't no fossil. You guys always say we was going to grow old together. We was going to sit in rocking chairs on the front porch. I just didn't know that it was going to happen so early. But that's my mom.
Yeah.
MawMaw showed me unconditional love, and I didn't know that people did that until I met her. When I met her, I just was amazed that she would tell her kids before they left. Her and my father-in-law would say, well, I'm proud of you, son. And, and he'd pat them on the, pat them when we'd leave. And it didn't matter what he had done when he was younger or right before I met him. They never said anything negative, you know? It was, I love you, son. We're proud of you. I wasn't used to that, you guys. And MawMaw wasn't used to, I would be in tears when I'd come from my parents' house. I'd come over here and I would just be in tears, and she'd just say, baby, I don't know. I can't understand. And that's what she would do. When my mom hurt me so bad, hurt my heart, MawMaw said, I just can't understand. And she, you know, so God blessed me. God blessed me with my mother-in-law before I met my husband. God knew I needed to know she loved me, not just because I was with her son.
Yeah. That's
Yes.
fantastic.
And
Yeah, you know, my mother lived to be 98 years old, and I can honestly only remember one time in my life that she ever told me she loved me. And she was probably in her 80s when she said it. But very sad. I don't think she had a mean heart. I think she was just so caught up in her own self and so self-centered and was never happy. Never. She was never happy.
MawMaw, how old was you when your mama passed away? See, Frances can't understand that because her mom passed away when MawMaw was so young.
Mm.
And so MawMaw just could not understand because she lost her mom, how a mom could do her child like I was done.
Yeah.
And, you know, she was 11.
That reminds me, you know, I see people, you know, they'll make a statement about, you know, devastated because they lost their parent, they lost their mom. And my feeling is, I know this sounds strange, but how wonderful that you lost your mom, and it's horrible because you had the love, and I never had that.
Bye, Think Dragon. Much love to you, and I really mean that.
Yes, she does. I mean, I never had. I know it sounds weird, but I never had that love. Yeah, I had a mother, and she lived to be 98, but I never had that love. It was always, she would call and leave me nasty messages, and it was always about her. It was never about anyone else. So when you're grieving and you had a great relationship and you had that love of a mother, cherish it.
You know, with you saying that, there was one day, because, you know, we take prayer requests, and so many people, especially during the holidays, you know, one day there was a lot of people that missed their mom. And, you know, I said, well, I miss my dad. And I said, I don't want to, you know, make this sound bad, but I said, I don't know how I'm going to feel when my mother's gone. And so with you being up here, Joe, that's not strange to hear you say that, but there's people that just won't say it because they don't want somebody to think, oh, you just are awful. No, when you don't. Now she will tell me mom was always one to say, well, I love you, you know, the actions. My dad didn't say, he wasn't an I love you person, but I was a dad's girl. So I knew he loved me. I didn't need him, you know, to say it all the time or say it. But my mom was a hugger, and I love her. I love you, but it didn't mean, it did not mean the same. You can't say I love you in one voice and then cuss in the very next and break somebody down. So I did not know we had that in common, Joe. And, you know, you just never know sometimes.
You don't, and that's why I said I actually, I know this sounds so weird, and I probably have never said this out loud, and I'm not sure I should say it today, but when somebody, like I said, when somebody loses a mother and they're grieving and they miss their mother so bad, and I think, oh, I wish I had that. I wish I had that, because you know what I felt when my mother passed away? I'm free. I no longer got nasty messages from her. I no longer got hate messages. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. And that's sad.
My sister felt like that when my dad passed. And then she told me, because, you know, I had to put up with a lot to be able to see my dad, because I knew if I had made my mom angry, I wouldn't have got to be there and see him through his last days. So I put up with a lot. And the day he passed, and my mother was very ugly to me that day. Of all people, I had not even done anything. And it's because I was grieving my dad, you know, and she always knew that. She knew I loved my dad more. I'm sorry. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but maybe not love him more, but I was a dad's girl, and I went to my oldest sister for everything. But that day, my sister said, you don't have to put up with it anymore. If you choose to come back and see your mother, that's for you to decide. She said, now you don't have to feel like you have to. And so it's not strange, Joe.
I'll
It's not
finish
strange.
the story. Maybe people will frown upon this, but I'll tell you, when my mother died, I actually grieved for my dad, because my mother made me hate my dad, and they were married. They eventually got divorced, but when I was growing up, they were still married. But she made me so afraid of my dad, and she talked vicious about him all the time. And they were still married and lived in the same house. And I grew up with such fear of my dad. And I got to know him actually through my sister-in-law, who was very close to him. And she said to me, well, he knows that you do love him, because I said, I don't know if he ever knew I loved him. Sorry.
No, but
So when my mother died, I actually grieved my father.
yeah.
You're seeing a different side of me.
Well, I'm sorry. I bring it out in people.
No, that's okay.
Hi, Khadijah. Thank you for coming. And String Cheese, thank you. Thank you for sharing. I mean, String Cheese says they understand. And thank you, Still Winter Nation. Yeah, today we're on a little bit of different, you know, and it kind of goes, it does, you guys, it goes with the scripture of standing up for those that can't stand up for themselves. You know, there's different times that I do cry of, you know, you shared this, you know.
Well, this is the honesty, and this is what I want to portray. I will never say anything to anyone in either one of my channels that I don't mean.
I know. And, you know,
and that's how you are. And that's why your channel is so wonderful.
My my husband had to call and check on my daughter, and so he had to call my mom's number, and it's on, you know, on his phone. He always has it on speakerphone because he works at a very loud place. So he sit there by me, and he was talking to her, and she asked about MawMaw, and, you know, she just, you know, talked about my husband being fat and said, oh, I know you're fat and lazy. And I'm like, I'm laying there and I'm like, why do you have to say stuff like that? And he just laughed about it. And you know, the more she talked, the more uneasy I was. And then, you know, right at the end, she said, well, I know you got to go because you got a bed partner over there. He didn't think nothing about it. And when he hung up, that's all I could think about. And it took me a couple of days. And I told him, I said, Kevin, because he had just told me he's proud of what we do on this channel. He had just told me. I said, Kevin, I don't want you to think bad of me. I said, but I have to say this. Please don't ever put Mom on speakerphone again. I said, please don't.
Yeah.
And it was the way she twisted her words and the way she sounded. And I said, that was so disrespectful that she called me your bed partner. I am your wife. I am a mother and a grandmother. I am not a bed partner. I said, that was calling me a whore.
Mm-hmm.
That was her last dig to call me that. A bed partner was so disrespectful that she knew I heard. And I told Kevin, please, don't ever put her on speakerphone. So you guys, I love my mother because, you know, we're to honor our father and mother. And I did. And I have.
It's like, I loved my mother, but I didn't like her. Is that what you're probably feeling? Maybe I loved her because she gave birth to me, as my son pointed out to me. And if she hadn't, he wouldn't be here. Life would be different. So I love her for that, but I didn't like her. I didn't like her actions.
String cheese, you can catch me on Facebook, and I will. I would do it face to face with you on Messenger. But hi, Makeup with Jessica. Good morning. Good morning. But you know, it is hard, and I haven't shared that. So, you know, Joe, we're both sharing. We're both sharing that.
Yeah.
And we've, you know, people have stayed on. And good morning, Jillian. Good morning. You guys show love. Please show love to Joe.
Good morning, everyone.
I know it's like, wait a minute, who's that up there? You guys, please show her love. And so it is a hard subject, and we do touch on hard subjects. And on Destiny, the Shamrock Pixie, it goes along with that on her mental health, because I had a lot of mental problems that I went through because of the things that was said to me as a child. At 4 years old, I wasn't, I guess I shouldn't say whore, but that is in the Bible, but I was called that at 4 years old, you guys. I grew up being taught like that my whole life, but you know what? So I hold my head up because my grandmother loved me. My grandmother took me to church. God loves me. God loves me. So I can smile. And you know, and you know what? I say this, and some people probably didn't know I really meant it, but there's nothing anybody out there could say to me, anything ugly anybody out there could say to me, that my own mom didn't say by the time I was 4 years old.
Yeah. And, you know, I say what we went through made us the people we are today. And I'm much happier who I am today than I was when I was younger.
Oh, thank you, Makeup. She said, I just showed love to everyone with the channel. And Josie loves supporting and growing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody new here. And we do different topics. You know, we have fun topics, but you know, for some reason, Joe, God put us together today, and maybe it was to help my heart. maybe it was to help my heart.
I think both of our hearts. Sometimes we get, I've had a few times when I thought, why am I doing YouTube? I see some negativity that I don't like. Why? And then I remind myself, God put me here in the first place. Because like my Facebook groups, the two of them, I had no intentions of even starting a YouTube channel. I started watching different channels like Joan Brody and jewelry, and all of a sudden one day it just came to me, that's what I had to do.
Well, we come across you through the jewelry, and of course Casey went through the jewelry because of his best friend April, and so all of it kind of, God uses different people, and it just, that one day when people miss their moms, it hurt my heart. I didn't say it did, but it kind of touched my heart because I was like, I don't have that relationship, but I do with Frances. I do with MawMaw. I call her MawMaw. I have a mom that loves me unconditional. And I show love, and I think that's why I say my girls. I think that's why I do show. I had so many young, like Tiffany's friends, that would want me to adopt them, no joke, because their mothers run out on them. And I would be the first one to do makeup for them. And then Casey had friends. One girl was in foster care, and she wanted us to take her in. And I said, whoa, I got rules. You would not like my rules, But they still love me, and I still love them. And so I was able to be mom to the mom that I didn't have. I think that's why I gave and I give out love like I do. Because thank you, Makeup with Jessica. Thank you for the thumbs up, because you guys, we kept the people, a lot of people on, because undoubtedly, Joe, that there was a message God meant for today. Because I wasn't sure if you was going to be able to make it on today.
Hey, I put my alarm on because I thought I cannot oversleep this time, because my late hours. I for some reason at about 10 or 11 o'clock at night I get this spurt of energy, and I start either working on eBay, or if I have packages to ship the next day, I used to that. And it's crazy. And then I don't have to, on my work days, I don't have to go until about 12 or 1. So I'll sleep in until 9. And I thought, no, I can't do that to Darlene. I got to get up this time.
Well, see, me and Joel, we had one day, because now it's hard now with him because he's in Australia. I still can't understand the time. But he and I are going to do an interview, and we just got to get the time right, Yeah. Yes, LizzAnn. LizzAnn said God's timing is perfect.
Yes, it is.
And I mean, I'm glad I was able to speak the words and people not fill my thing up with, oh, you should be ashamed about my mom. I'm glad that I have somebody that really understands.
Well, I sometimes it helps others if, we can be honest and speak about things that we've went through. And parents aren't perfect. We all make mistakes. And now I even analyze sometimes, like the older generation, they didn't show a lot of emotions or love, or, it wasn't common to tell, like, even at my age and my younger son's age, I always tell him I love him before I leave.
Oh, I do Southern goodbyes.
Yeah,
Hey, Hetty. Hetty is on Facebook. Hey, Hetty. I love that. See, Joe, I'm able to stream both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I love that feature.
that's great.
I love that feature, and that's how I know I have to keep Facebook up.
Well, I can do it on my phone because I'm on my laptop, but I can't. My chat on Streamline disappeared, so I'm on the chat on the phone.
So it's amazing. But yeah, I was able to say that, and
But my son, I didn't mean to interrupt
no,
you,
go
but
ahead.
my son pointed out something, and he was so wise for his age, 52. I said, God didn't, especially with our first child, we didn't have instructions. And he looks at me and he says, Mom, you did the Bible. But when we were that young, some of us didn't read the Bible. And I was raised in a Catholic background. And actually, my parents only went to church on a holiday anyway. But at that time, when you went to Catholic service, it wasn't in English. It was in Latin. And most Catholics don't, I don't know about now, but didn't read the Bible. So I believed in God, but I really didn't have any Bible background. So when he said that, I said, you're right. If we followed the Bible, we could be better parents. But I didn't have that knowledge.
Even devout Christian people, I'm sure I made mistakes, but both my kids told me that I was a great mom. And, I'm estranged right now from my daughter, and it just kills me. And, then I have others that call me mom, and then I'm like, I can't even reach right now my own child. I can't fix what's wrong. I want to fix what's wrong, and I can't. Let me see what this.
Yeah.
I did, and again with the Proverbs, it's Proverbs 31. I did not realize. I just knew the part of it. It talked about a virtuous woman, but I didn't realize it was the saying of a king that was his mother taught him. And I'm like, I did not know that. Listen, my son, listen, son of my womb. Listen, my son, the answer to my prayers. Do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. So, I mean, even there is a mother advising her son on clean living and how to live, and giving him, telling him how to live his life. And then at the end, if you guys read that whole chapter of 31, it talks about a virtuous woman now. Whoo, what she did getting up at first crack of dawn and all the way she lived, done. I'm like, oh, back when I first read that, when I did a Christian womanhood course, I'm like, I know I had my little kids, and I cooked and I worked full time and I took care of them and my husband, but I'm like, wait, this woman had to walk to market, and but it, but we still, it was still us getting up early, getting our kids fed, and getting them out the door and going to work. And I'd done all those things.
Yeah. And string cheese said it was in Latin when I was a toddler too. I'm no longer a Catholic. No, I changed. I changed churches when I was 19 years old. I had my daughter when I was 19, and I wanted to baptize her, have her baptized, and the Catholic Church wouldn't baptize her because my husband and I weren't married in the Catholic Church. And I had called and talked to about 3 or 4 different priests. And when they refused, I called different churches, and I joined the Methodist Church and baptized my children.
And Traci now goes to Catholic, and you know, sometimes I'll read a scripture and then I'll get her to read the scripture, and most of the time, you know, it's basically the same, but they now read. They don't, I don't think, read in Latin.
Yeah, and I wondered what was the purpose in Latin. We couldn't understand what they were saying, what the priest was saying. So, but they didn't. When I was growing up, we didn't even have a Bible in the house. And most Catholics at that time, I don't know what they do now, but most Catholics at that time didn't read the Bible. So I'm happy where I'm at today.
And you know, I don't go to church, but I say I am very grateful that I am getting I'm getting the word. Who else can go all day, like especially when Casey reads? Who can be able to talk of Jesus all day? I am so blessed that it has turned into this. And string cheese, my son, we have Catholics, we have Mormons, we have just about everybody that comes to the Porch Church Network. So he reads from the Bible.
Well, what I say is I follow Jesus. You know, religion is man-made.
Yes.
All of the churches are man-made with their own rules. So I've come to the conclusion I follow the Bible and I follow Jesus.
Yes. Me and my sister, we were coming from a funeral, and Tiffany and my daughter and Casey was in the back seat, and this was a few years ago. So they were grown.
Call him with the balance.
Okay. So when we got talking about the Bible, and she said King James Version is the only one that you're supposed to read. And I told her, I said, you do understand that the true Bible is written in a language that's been translated and changed over the years. Nope. So we had that discussion, and the kids in the back seat they wasn't saying nothing because they were like, oh boy. Now here's Aunt Renee and here's Mama debating. Yeah. And I said King James was the king. Yes, that's the version of it. And he decided what was put in the King James Version and took out some. But you know, I look at it this way. You follow your heart on what God wants you to do. Mm-hmm. Read the Bible, but first and foremost, do what God puts on your heart. Because I'm gonna tell you, He's remade me and remolded me and reshaped me. And sometimes.
Is that where you got that big forehead?
Oh, hush about my forehead.
Okay, Casey.
You know, got Joe laughing. Yes, God gave me this big forehead. He made this forehead perfect. I'm not covering mine up with the turban like yours. He's over there just
a kiffia.
But he has a big forehead too, huh?
Look, that's that side of my family. We all have big heads. So, but no, yeah, if I had not followed what God, you know, I would still not have grown. I wouldn't have met, you know, most of the people that's in this chat, because I had to let God, you know, keep churning things up on the channel.
Yep.
Until finally he said, you know, Christian womanhood. And we do sometimes, we'll do art therapy, but Christian womanhood. Jillian says she's divorced and support her son who's having problems with agoraphobia. I am having money problems and pray for help now. And I'm getting a lodger and tonight an auction on YouTube. So Jillian, I will write that. Now, agoraphobia, that's somebody that doesn't
Agoraphobia.
That's somebody that can't
Like
leave the
people.
house.
No, that's somebody who doesn't like
Yeah, can I put you on my prayer list in my prayer angel group? Is that okay?
Jillian, Joe is asking you, would that be okay if she adds you on her prayer channel? Says your name on her prayer channel. Joe, do you have Jillian?
I have been on her, I think I do. I've been on her auction once or twice.
Okay.
Depends what time people come on, because where I work, sometimes I will get on my phone and sneak into an auction at work, but
we've done had Swamp Picker jump in here. Do you know Swamp Picker, Joe?
yeah, I know Swamp Picker.
And he said, "Hey, Casey."
Yeah, and he's
Hi.
subscribed to me.
So thank you guys. I mean, yes, we have gone quite a bit, but look, 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, in fact, I can, I'm going to have to not read the chat because my phone says it's low in battery. So I'm going to have to get off of there.
Yeah, and my battery's low too. Because I haven't gotten up and walked, and oh my goodness, usually it's gone so good, you guys.
I thank everybody, and hopefully I didn't say the wrong thing to step on anyone's toes.
You did not, and you're almost at 810. So.
Oh, wow, I appreciate that. But the one thing, I think you and I are a lot alike, and I appreciate that. I respect that. I can honestly say I am blunt at times. I try not to be rude, but I will never lie to you. I will always give you a straight answer. And
I do have to say, and you're one that will say I was wrong, or like you said, I followed the wrong people. I think we can all say that we have got caught up with somebody else's issues and almost took us in the wrong direction. And I've had that happen to me, and I've let go and let God, and that's what I call it. Yes, Chats with Flow. Thank you for joining. And if you'll show love to Joe.
My biggest turning point when I knew I was on the right road to be in what God wanted me to be is when I can apologize. And I have apologized to not social media, but friends in my life. I have apologized to people I never thought I could apologize to or forgive. I have forgiven them for things I never thought I could forgive them for. So that was one of the first things that I felt made me a better person, was to be able to do that and to be able to admit your flaws and that we are human, we do make mistakes, and that we all are sinners.
And I have apologized for things that I didn't even do wrong, and try to make things right, and have the same people do me the same way, and then I can say, well, God, I tried.
Mm-hmm.
And then leave it alone, and then leave it alone.
And I believe forgiveness is between you and God. You can forgive somebody totally, but that doesn't mean you have to allow them back into your life. Now, that's just my personal.
Yeah. Yes. When you most definitely, because sometimes God, I will say this, sometimes God will give division for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
God will take people out of your life for a reason, because you can't spiritually grow if somebody is in disagreement, and you sure can't. You very well can't do what we're doing here. And you guys know, it's the regular panel, Traci and LizzAnn and so I didn't forget your name this time, LizzAnn. And Destiny. I'm serious, Joe. Sometimes I'll be looking at her and I'm like, that woman right down there. And she just laughs at me but when you have people, and if there's any discourse, God will not bless it. But sometimes God will mix things up and take people out of your life, and you're like, well, and it hurts sometimes. It does. When you try to fix people and you try to help people, the mom tries to fix.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there's no fixing, because if they don't want God in their life, you can't make somebody.
No.
You can't make them.
And we just have to, I think women have a tendency, this motherly instinct, that we think we can protect everyone or change everyone, and we really can't. All you can do is set a good example, be what God wants you to be, and hopefully it rubs off. But yeah, we can't. I'm trying to learn not, I can't defend everyone, and I can't fix everyone.
And God will bring good people. He will bring. Yes, LizzAnn says sometimes God is protecting us when He removes people from our life.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
God will bring like-minded people. I said all the time, God will bring you like-minded people. And if you have some good praying women, there's praying men out there too, because I'm telling you that, we've had a lot in our chat this morning. So it's not, I'm just not saying just women. There are some praying men out there. Mm-hmm. Very praying men. And I'd start naming names, but I don't want to leave nobody out. But I've been blessed with God put Traci, and then God still put LizzAnn by way of Derek, but put them in my life, that they're by my side, and that's not, that's a gift. That is a gift.
Keep up the good work. You got a wonderful channel. A lot of loving people, kind people in here. And we're human. And we just have to learn to accept each other's flaws, because we all have them. We all have them. None of us are perfect.
LizzAnn said, oh, wait, you remembered my name? Oh, shucks, ma'am. That's up, LizzAnn. And,
that's cute.
And, I always said this. I said, oh, my goodness. I never would have thought. I said, but Casey told me, he said, Mom, don't worry. He said, God's going to bless you through YouTube. And I'm like, but I'm not selling anything. I said, it's just me. But no, I guess, God.
Yeah.
But we have to be the example.
Yeah.
It would be like trying to sell jewelry without showing what you're, you have to live it. And each time they, each broadcast, now if you go back to my very original ones, I've learned a lot, and God's molded and shaped since I first started. But yes, I am going to have to go because my husband called.
Yeah, and I haven't eaten breakfast.
I had 2 Pop-Tarts. That was it, Lizz.
I didn't even have any coffee. I've drank some water.
Oh, you ain't had coffee, woman?
I haven't even had coffee. No.
Oh my good. Look, you guys. I'm just saying. Ooh, I did have 3 cups, I think. Look, you don't have, you see, I have the Keurig behind me. But you guys,
I want to thank you, Darlene, for having me. It was an honor, really, and I appreciate all the love that I've received. And hopefully, my new channel will just, like I said, if it just helps one person, God's put me in the right direction.
and it is. I just have a feeling God brought you on this morning, and yes, and the chat is just blowing up, and I'm going to go back, you guys, and I'm going to look at the chats. And
Me too. I'm going to go back, and I apologize for the emotions once in a while. I did cry talking about my dad.
well,
But
that comes from the heart, Joe.
my heart. You've seen my heart.
Yes. And more than I really ever knew. And I really did not know, because we haven't got to sit down and talk. I did not know we were so much alike. And it makes me feel better. I don't feel so alone in my heart.
You're not alone. You're very much loved. I'm sure there's a lot of people on here who totally agree. You are very much loved. And I thank you. I'm going to go, and I'm going to go eat my Cheerios and bananas.
All right. Then I'm going to count it down. I'm not going to do a long goodbye. I love you guys. I'll be here in the morning. So, yes, remember the homeless. So, 3, 2, 1. End the broadcast.